Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Prezi, put me up there, my brother. So, yes, Medea, my people. You hear the song? Open your eyes and see for yourself. Open your eyes and know for self. That's what it's all about around here. Education, right? Or some people say edu or edu. No matter. I don't know what we're talking about. First of all, let me just big up everybody in the chat. Wendy Gray. Yes. Mr. Vumva V. We don't drive no Jeep or signal no plane around here. That is for sure. Lyris. Who else there? There, Master Songwriter. Daglish. Fabian. Yes, Fabian. Big up yourself. Cynthia B. Merle. Where I say? How things? Petra. What? Joe Blogs. Yes. The thing I know some virgin there, you know. Laps Coachy. Me know you're there, you know. Me know you're there, but me can't find in the chat here. Hold on a second there. Because we see a whole heap of people in the chat a while ago and all of a sudden things just disappear. But I saw the thing said. Me don't know if you see that president. Me president. I don't know if president see what me just see a while ago, but a bunch of people, them just disappear off of my screen. But here what? Me call the names them as them come up. TM Rose, me there. Well, folks, we have a fantastic program scheduled for tonight. We have President who will mash up the resident. He will come on and talk to you about an event that's taking place this Saturday. Make it a date and don't be late. And we also have with us tonight none other than our favorite doc, Dr. Ben. He's here, so we can ask him all the questions we want to ask him about herbs, indigenous Caribbean medicine. All them questions I want, and of course yours truly is here. You can ask me anything. Prezi, a while ago, I just say a bunch of names just disappear off of my screen, you know. Come in say, yeah, welcome, Prezi, welcome. But it's the thing that a while ago, me say, Norman Montague, I'm not see him no more. I'm just disappear. So I don't know what happened, but I saw the thing.
We'll find him.
Producer, yeah, the whole list. It's a longer list than the list I'm looking at right now. But see, man, yeah, man. How am there? Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, people.
Right below you.
Someone there. My brethren from long time. My article. Known as Laps Coachy. When you see me ask him, I'm getting the name. I'm not going to tell him. So when you see me ask him. Not to big up yourself. All right, Delroy. See you so. Anyway, folks, look, a lot of things happened since we last met, right? A week ago. Whole heap of things, including, things last night, things last week, things today. Whole heap of things happened. And I'm available to field any questions you have about anything. Doc is coming on, and Doc, when you can ask Doc anything you want to ask him to, not to limit it to medicine, although that I'm specialty, but he's a man of many talents. So you might want to ask him some other things as well. But particularly if you have questions about herbs and things like that, he's here. And again, there'll be no presentation. So you just ask questions, and you know what? Let me turn on this here. Just ask questions and answers just like a flow, where possible, when possible. So Prezi have an event this week, Saturday. And so rather than me talk about it, I would rather have the person who's behind this event and in front of this event speak about it, because then you might ask me questions about it and I can't answer. But Prezi is here, and any question, he'll make a presentation to you. Any questions you want to ask him, he's available. So Prezi, over to you, sir, and welcome.
Thank you, sir. All right, everyone. Good evening. Big up on yourself. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Normally, I'm behind the scene. You won't see me, but tonight I'm here for a special reason, and I need your support. Now, I'm having a community service award this Saturday, November 9th. It's going to be here in West Palm Beach. And at this Community Service Award, we are raising funds to help impact and change the lives of some children. So as you can see on the screen here, this is our website. This is the event here, the Free Spirit Outreach Annual Community Service Award. And our lifetime recipient is the County School Board Commissioner, District 6, Marcia Andrews. She's been an educator in the community for almost, 3 to 4 decades. I would say almost 4 decades. We also have Curlin Brown from CVM TV. She'll be co-hosting the event with me. We have Councilman from the city of Riviera Beach, Douglas Lawson. And then we have several educators that will be honored, and it's going to be here in West Palm Beach. But the reason why I'm here is not to tell you how important these people are and why we choose to award them for instilling and inculcating values in the lives and the minds of children and students. I'm here to ask you to help us raise the funds that we're trying to raise. This year, we are giving away 10 scholarships, and we're hoping to raise $35,000, and we're nowhere near our target. But we know you are amazing, and we're asking you for your help. So as you can see, some information is flowing below your screen. And you see, it's so easy to say somebody else is going to do it. And then when everybody says somebody else is going to do it, it never gets done. I remember a thing that happened. This little China woman that Miss Chung, she owned, our family owned a lot, or pretty much all of the Burger King in Jamaica. When I was a young juvenile, I remember working at the Burger King downtown Kingston. And Miss Chung said to me, Miss Chung said, listen, you know you're going to be a great person? I mean, like, yeah, because I'm here mopping your restaurant floor, you're telling me that. She said, no. She's like, you're super brilliant and you're going to change the world. And I'm like, oh, that Chinese woman that patronized me. Why she feel like so she want to come trick me through? She want to wipe the floor more. And, you know, she said a lot of things. And one of the things she always say that she liked about me was that, and she shared a little story, which I found later on was a quotable quote that she used. It was saying something to the effect, and I'm so sorry because I didn't plan it, I would have had it prepared, but it said something like, there was a job to be done by everybody, or anybody, but everybody thought that somebody would do it. So it ended up that nobody did what anybody could do because everybody thought somebody would do it. And that stayed with me. And as young as I was in my teens, I remember that specifically, how sometimes we think someone else will do it. So please don't say someone else will support Free Spirit. I'm asking you for your help. If you hop on over to the website, there's a donate button. If you click on the donate button, you can get information. It also has the Zelle information. You also have a one-time donation, ongoing support, school supply, or scholarship fund. So let's say you click on the one-time donation. You click here, take you over to PayPal. It's very, very simple. You can just put in the amount you want to give, and you put that amount in. You just click on debit or credit card or these options. If you're on a phone, it will give you like Apple Pay or Android Pay. But if you do debit or credit card, it loads a form. You fill it out. It's not a lot of information. It's just this one little page. You fill in the information, you hit pay, and we are able to be on our way towards our goals. So I'm asking you tonight, as the broadcast continue, to keep in mind, I want to also show you the impact that we've been having in the lives of children. These numbers are real, my friends. So we have been doing this for 18 years. We've done over 10,000 medical screens. We have fed over 36,000 people and have given away over 130 school supplies. And by school supplies, I don't mean 130,000 books. I mean package. I mean many books, many pencils, many crayons. So we've been doing this and we've built schools. This is one of the story here that you see, one of our success story. This is Dr. Shea and Betty. You can watch him. CVM did a special on Dr. Shea and Betty to show what we've been doing. So this is not a joke. This is real lives we're changing. This guy is here saving lives in Jamaica because of what this organization has done. So if you have an opportunity, please, it would mean a lot if you can support. This is our last community service award. Last year we didn't have one, but this is the 2001. You can take a look at it on the website. We had Faye Ellington, and it was a great event. And this year, this is one of the scholarship that we did for St. Elizabeth, and that's good. This is the UK. He's the ambassador, what do you call it, High Commissioner for UK. He was our keynote speaker. Wonderful guy. Some will say it's on the wrong party, but I leave that for another day. But so we have a lot of great people who came out and support the event, and it was a wonderful event. But this year, we're looking to take it to the next level. And this was when I had a little bit more, few extra pounds. So please come on. If you're able, if you're in the area, please support it. If you're not able to support it, would greatly appreciate your contribution tonight. So, Will, let me thank you for the opportunity to cut in your broadcast, to give me the opportunity to share this with the viewers. And I really appreciate the opportunity. And let me tell you, we're changing lives, because not only the pictures that you look at, some of the galleries, you'll see the libraries, you'll see the children, you'll see the many schools and different things in our galleries you can look at to see the work we're doing. Because we're not just here talking, we do the work. So please, I'm asking you if you can hop on over, send us a donation, please, because we really need to do this. We promised these children we're going to help them, and we're falling behind on that. And I really hate to cut in the broadcast to ask you, but Will has been so generous on knowing the lives that are being transformed. And he said, Prezi, you have to come on and say something. So thank you again, Will, and I appreciate it. And I'm just gonna be behind the scene as usual. And know we're gonna have a great show. And Dr. Ben, as always, will educate us and empower us to live the best version of ourselves. Thank you, Will, for the opportunity.
No worries, Prezi. You're welcome anytime. Folks, now we're pleased to bring on Dr. Ben, and we're just going to talk of the things. Like I said, Wednesday nights we have no presentation. Wednesday night it's just Dr. Ben, mute that second there. Doc, yeah. Wednesday night we're just going to have just, as you know, it's a Q&A, question and answer session. We're not doing a presentation. We are actually, I misspoke, as I said, Dr. Ben is our guest. Well, actually, I'm a guest also. And you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you are the hosts and the hostesses, right? And we're just here at your disposal. Ask us anything you want to ask us. Dr. Ben, before I'm going to take a question, somebody ask a question, you're going to ask a question. But before I do, while just now, 6 minutes ago, a lady wrote to me and she said, I'll read it. I won't call her name. She said, hello, Mr. Rattigan. Hope this day is a great day for you. We're trying to call Dr. Israel, but to no avail. We tried to call him in May when I saw him on your program the first time. Left messages, but no one replied. I would appreciate it if you could give me his current number or other way to get in contact with him. So I wrote her back and said, Dr. Ben is here on the show. You need to tune in. So she said, oh my God, that's quick. Thanks. So she's tuned in now. So my lady, you know who you are. I won't call out your name. Dr. Ben is here. So You can. That's a question you can ask him, which is Dr. Ben. Let me get in touch with you. But there is his number at the bottom.
All right, so the number is on the screen. You know, I have quite a number of numbers because we work out of a number of different offices. And I want to thank you for having me on tonight. You know, I really appreciate it. One of the things that I love is to share, because our greatest medicine, I said that the greatest weapon against sickness and disease is education, not medication, even if it's natural. And so an opportunity like this is, I really value it, because to really get across to persons and to really help persons in a sustainable way is really through educating them and informing them. Before we go on, I just want to give a disclaimer that I'm a herbalist. I'm a practitioner of traditional medicine. And so I'm not a medical doctor. The information that I share tonight is for general use. It is not to replace the advice or the guidance of your healthcare provider. Please do not do anything or try anything, especially what we have said tonight, without the guidance of your healthcare provider. So tonight I want to be sharing, and as I share, I believe in being responsible. So a lot of what I share is going to be general information. It's general because each of you are unique in your own right. And so when you ask a question, I can give general information. It may not be applicable to you because you may have a number of pre-existing or other conditions. And so all of that needs to be taken into account when you're going to take advice. All right, but I'll do my utmost best to answer any question that anyone has to ask tonight.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for the opening. Fabian, first question. You have to mute it, Dr. Ben, because I think there's a...
Yeah, please, any remedy for tinnitus? Good. So tinnitus is a condition where persons are having a ringing sound in their ears. There's a lot of studies around it, and there's not a lot of information as it relates to what is effective. But what we found to be effective, or what has been used traditionally to be effective, is ginger. A lot of persons use ginger tea, and it does reduce that. But we've also realized that some persons, it may be due to parasites, certain parasites in the body. And so some persons may need a parasite cleanse. Parasite cleanse, an effective parasite cleanse, or any effective parasite cleanse traditionally should have a herb called cloves in it. And one reason for that is because cloves, it doesn't matter what herbs you use, parasites are designed to live inside the body. They find ways to adjust and to be continually living in the human body. One of the ways that they do that, because their life cycle is so short, is the eggs. When they lay eggs, the eggs are protected by this membrane that almost, there's no herb that can penetrate that except for cloves. And so cloves is very essential. I would say to persons that if you're having tinnitus, ginger and cloves is a very good combination to use. Traditionally that's what persons would use to deal with tinnitus. Hope that helps.
All right. Let me answer Fabian's question. Fabian asked a question: do you think the poll for the election in Jamaica will work because it's showing PNP ahead? I think Fabian is asking me to compare and contrast the polling that was
the US election. The poll
right,
yeah.
Election. Right. Well, Fabian, here's what happened. A poll is only as good as the information provided by the people questioned by the pollster. And we know that over the years, Dr. Ben, we'll get a feedback from your end.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. The fun. So what happened is that we know that people sometimes, they don't tell the truth when they're speaking to the pollsters. They'll say one thing, and then once they get inside the polling booth, they'll register the opposite of what they told the pollster. So sometimes you can't really rely on it, but there have been instances where the polls have been very, very accurate. So to answer your question about the one in Jamaica, it's similar to the one here. It depends on the polling sample, who they polled, and if those people that they polled told them the truth. So all I can tell you is this: people died so that you could have the right to vote. Don't let it go to waste. Go out and vote, people. I don't care who you vote for. Just go out and vote. And one of the things that we do on a Saturday, and we're doing it here as well, is to educate you. You hear the doctor talk about education, right? Not medication. Well, here it's education, not miseducation on my part. And so what we're trying to do is to get you up to speed with the facts so that you can become a critical thinker and an informed voter. That's all we can do. We will never tell you who to vote for. We will provide you with the facts and say, no, you think about this critically. Think about yourself, your family, your community, and Jamaica. And whoever you think is the best candidate to carry on the message, to lead Jamaica, then we're fine with that. So, Fabian, I hope that answers your question. If it didn't, then you can send me some more information and then we can probably do some clarification. All right, folks, let me big up some more people. Tropical Tour, Elaine, Jim Master, Walk Like a Champion. Who else is here? Yeah, that's it. We have 148 people listening right at the devices listening right now. I mean, know some of the devices them is a community device, meaning that it's not one person sit down and listen. Several people, and we appreciate that and we love it. Big up on yourself. Now the phone line is opening, so if you want drop your question in the chat, it's fine. Or if you want to call us, it's 667-369-8569. Let me see if I have it here, President. I don't see it. Oh yeah, here it is. See, there it is. 667-369. Where's the phone? Okay, there you go. All right. Hold a question there. What's this? Call now to participate. No, that's not the number.
No, there was another question before as it relates to flushing the kidney. So I want to do.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
There was one question that was asked about flushing the kidney. Now, as it relates to the kidney, well, I'm gonna give you some herbs, but I'm gonna talk about the actions of the herbs that you need because that's what you really need. So, as it relates to the kidney, this depends on what's happening to the kidney. So, there's a number of issues that predominantly affects the kidney. One is going to be where the function of the kidney is reduced. And then another is where you have high uric acid. And when you have high uric acid, you'll have conditions like kidney stones, you'll have kidney cysts, which are the two common issues that we find. That is sometimes because of not enough, the kidney having an accumulation of salts or an accumulation of acids that would result in why the kidney needs to be flushed. Number one reason is that sometimes we're not drinking enough water. One of the major substance for flushing the kidney is water. So let's start there. And a number of persons are not drinking enough water. And so there is a concentration in the acids which cause the kidney to be in that condition. Now, sometimes when it happens, what you're going to need is herbs that are what we call diuretics. These are herbs that encourage you to urinate or to urinate frequently. Now, if you're taking herbs that are diuretics that help, that encourage you to urinate frequently, and you're not drinking enough water, kind of defeats the purpose. So these are some herbs that work as diuretics. So thyme, the thyme that we cook with, that's a diuretic. There is the corn here, corn silk, very powerful diuretic that helps to cleanse the kidney. Then there is what we call the mimosa pudica or the shema maca. That's another powerful diuretic, and especially if you're using the leaf, Another very powerful diuretic as well. There is celery, which is a diuretic. There is onion, especially the purple onion. That's a diuretic. Helps to cleanse the kidney. If you're having stones, or if you're having, let me talk about persons who are having kidney stones. There's a herb out there called Chanca Piedra, which is an excellent herb for cleansing the kidney. For persons who are having burning, if you're urinating, because there are persons who may have what is called a urinary tract infection, which is another reason why you may want to flush the kidney. A very good herb that has been used traditionally is corn silk. And if you've ever tasted, corn silk is another name for corn here. So the here at the bottom of the corn. If you taste it raw, it tastes salty like you're eating grass. And so if you make a tea from just that alone, without nothing else, just the corn here alone, if you're having people having prostate issues, having especially very, very concentrated burning. I remember I saw a lady in, where was it, in Savlamar, and I saw her with her son in her hand, and the child was very uncomfortable. So I asked her, you know, what's happening to the baby? And she said, well, the child is a little boy, was about 2 years old. He wants to pass his urine, but he was afraid to pass his urine because he had a urinary tract infection. And every time he passes his urine, he knows the discomfort that he's going to have. So she said, you know, she just brought him to a healthcare provider and she had some prescription medication for him. I said, no, all you need to do is just get some corn silk. Just go down to the market, ask for some corn silk, take it and give it to him. And I saw her the next week and she said, listen to me, man, I gave him the corn silk the same night. And by the next morning, the baby was passing his urine absolutely pain-free. So one very powerful herb is, of course, corn silk. But the underlying herb action that you want, that you're looking for, is what is called diuretics. And diuretics is found in nearly most grasses. Nearly most grasses, they are diuretics. So if you get like the Napier grass, or if you get like the Guinea grass, most grasses are diuretics. So if you eat it raw, you're gonna taste that it's salty. What you're tasting is actually the mineral salts inside of it, which helps you to get rid of that urinary tract infection. So a very good herb is, of course, those herbs. And then if you're a herbalist now, then you can, if you know how to blend these herbs, and somebody said cranberry, which is also very good. There's lemon. If you notice, all these cranberry, lemon, all these foods that you're talking about, they are diuretics. So that's the herbal action that they're looking for. So any plant that is a diuretic pretty much will help.
Yeah, you know, Doc, I was just trying to look it up. I heard a report, I think it was about 2 years ago, and they were saying that cranberry, they were saying it didn't have the effect, the medical effect that people believe. Have you heard anything about that?
That it what?
It's not. It doesn't help the condition.
Oh yes,
that's what they were saying.
Oh yeah, it helps. It helps. Cranberry, the real tangy, sour cranberry really helps. Once you eat it, and lemon also helps. Anything that pretty much has high minerals will help, and that encourages urination. Pretty much helps. One of the reasons, by the way, why corn silk is so important. Most of these other herbs that I mentioned, when you ingest them and when you're urinating them out, the body, after the process of dealing with them, changes their constituents. Corn silk is one of the very, very few plants that you are going to eat, and when you consume it, it leaves the body as an acid. So it kills a lot of the bacteria that is in the urinary tract. So corn silk is my number one, is at the top of the list in terms of products that would help with flushing the kidney.
Let me just say welcome to Elaine. Elaine Turner, big up yourself. And Elaine is asking everyone to like up the live By the way, the phone line is open, so you can call. The doc and I are here to answer any question you have. Any question, whether it's medical, herbal, political, social, whatever it is, you can call and we'll try and provide you with an answer. Miss B said, yes, cranberry does help. I also drink corn silk and parsley. Is that a good combo?
Yeah, that's a very good combo. And so, as I said, the list of herbs that I listed, if you are into formulation, if you know how to formulate them, then it improves the effectiveness of flushing the kidney, especially if it is for kidney stones or for high uric acids.
Hold on a second. Somebody said, Shirley said we're echoing. I think there's a problem coming from your end, Doc. Mute, let me say something. Yeah. Yeah, it's on your end. Thank you so much, Shirley. And I'm a big up Cheerful Wild Horse. Good night to you. Who else about Missy Brown? Big up yourself, Missy. Big up yourself. As we all know, Missy suffered a loss in her family, so prayers up for Missy and her family. It no stop. Yvonne, big up yourself, stay so. Queen Breezy. Who else we have here? Fire Tosh. And we mentioned Jim already. Oh, Fabian said right. Okay. Who else we have here? Oh, Shirley said much better. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. So folks, don't be shy now. Don't be shy, because remember now, and I ask for this thing and phone the program, we are just Ashden up top. Remember now, is your program this, brothers and sisters, families, your program this, so that you get a chance to ask. Because remember now, on the Saturday program, a lot of you used to call me and say, why is it that you don't open the phone line on a Saturday? And I explained to you that, opening the phone line on a Saturday we won't get to the material, because some of us, Jamaicans already. And my mother was one of them, never see a mic she never love, And when she come, my mother was, my mother come to ask a question, but she going to give a speech before she asks a question. She going to give a lecture. And so we can't do that on a Saturday, because, we want to get through the material. So that's why we say, all right, we could create this Wednesday program so that people can actually come and ask a question and they're not in a rush. So the phone line open. I'm gonna get no phone call from the night start. So I mean, if this is what it's gonna be like, well, I'm sure saying that some people probably just shy and Okay, Doc, say a question if you have.
All right. So just pardon the noise in the background, because I don't know, it's Peony Wally. So what you're hearing is actually outside. I'm in my office, so the Peony Wally sound is what is maybe giving that feedback, because I don't hear anything. But in the past I know that at nights it's the Peony Wally is outside. All right. So what can be used for prostate cancer that has touched the bone and suffering diabetes at the same time? Now, this is a very good example of a case where a lot more information is needed and to determine how, because we're talking about two issues that, when come together, creates a very adverse situation. So I'm going to answer that generally. Now, person has cancer, the person has diabetes. What that is saying is that, number one, the body is in a very inflamed state. The body is in a very acidic state. And so what's causing the diabetes to thrive is also pretty much what's also causing the cancer cell to thrive, which is acidity. That acidity, at the root of it is starch. The root of it is sugar. And so, especially if it has touched the bone, it has metastasized to the bone. For that person, generally, I would say what you need to do is to, first of all, arrest the problem, to keep it on the wrapper, to prevent it from spreading, to buy time to fix the problem. So, number of things you need to do. One, Because sugar is where we get our energy from, and the body needs energy, then you're going to have to try to get your energy from another source that will not feed cancer cells. So another very good source of energy is healthy fats. And if you've been watching the media, you hear them talking about what is called the ketogenic diet. And the ketogenic diet is pretty much a diet where you're putting about 70% healthy fats, 10% sugar, and about 20% protein. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get the inflammation down. So you need to look at what it is that is in your lifestyle. The first thing you need to do, look at what is in your lifestyle that is contributing to the acidity. And the first thing you're going to realize is that starch, sugar, acidity is at the root of that. Now, by just switching to a diet that will provide the body with energy other than sugar, you're going to deal with those two issues. You're going to deal with the diabetes, and you're also going to deal with the cancer. That is broadly. I don't know what stage it is. I don't know where it is. But there are herbs now that you can also take, because when you talk about cancer, am I too noisy, Ratty?
No. Go ahead. We just have a call, but I want you to finish up that sentence.
Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to arrest the problem. So you want to look at what is contributing it to your diet. The second thing that you want to do is you want to attack the problem directly. All right? Directly. Now, there are herbs that you can use that can attack it directly, because one of the things with cancer cells is that with healthy cells, they are supposed to die at a particular point. They are supposed to self-destruct. That is not happening. They are not self-destructing. Well, there are herbs that you can take that target those cells, that allow them to self-destruct rather than replicating or duplicating themselves. So herbs that have been medically or scientifically proven to do so are herbs like guinea hen, herbs like graviola, herbs like soursop leaf. These are two herbs that have a high level, and a lot of studies have been done that have been proven to do so. And so, as I said, I would need to know a little bit more, but you want to deal with those two issues as it relates to the diabetes as well as the cancer.
Hold on a second. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Where are you calling from? Hello? Hello? Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, hello. Yeah, talk to it now, talk to it.
As it relates to two constitutional principles called separation of powers and judicial independence. The separation of powers doctrine is not found anywhere written down in the Constitution, but appealing to Constitution. Why?
Run the question again by me. You mentioned separation of powers and judicial independence, and you said one of them is not mentioned in it.
Yeah. The separation of powers doctrine is not found anywhere written down in the Constitution, but accepted by the highest court, the Privy Council, as appealing to the Constitution. Why?
Yeah, because everything. Let me answer. Hang up and let me answer the question. Let me just take this other caller. All right. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from St. Martin, man.
St. Martin, big up yourself. Big up yourself. How the weather down there?
Every time. What you doing, my brother?
Man, be on top of the world, man.
Man, continue. You're doing a good job, man.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, hit me with your question now. And Doc there, so.
Is it that you really want to ask?
Then him there, man. Talk to him.
Supplement for me to advertising. I don't know how to come in to get it, man.
Doc, you hear that? He's asking about the mushroom supplement. Doc, you're muted.
Sorry, which one of the mushrooms is he talking about? Is he talking about the Ganoderma or the reishi or the?
Doc is asking which one of the mushrooms them you're talking about.
Yeah, more than one. I just hear you advertise one some weeks ago. The one is the good for month.
I think I know what he's talking about.
So he wants to get it from you, so he's asking.
Right. So mushroom has been around for a number of years, and mushroom is how the world is connected. You know, like how in this artificial sense we have the internet.
You're not hearing it, Doc?
No, I'm hearing you, but I'm not hearing you.
Maybe he needs to hang up.
All right. Hang up and listen to the answer.
Okay, I need you to tell me where even in Jamaica can get it, because in a few minutes, we can talk in Jamaica.
All right. Well, you need to listen to that because you what now? You probably never need the mushroom only. You need some other things, and one is that it's always good to get a complete physical. And like the doctor, him like to see you in person, and then him can get can get a good evaluation. So it's not just the mushroom.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
All right. Well, you see the doc number on the bottom of the screen, so you can read out. But hang up now and listen to the answer.
All right. So I see some questions. I'm not answering his questions.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
I will not answer G and the questions about sugar. So I'm not answer the question first about mushroom. No. So as I say, that mushroom is the natural version of what the internet is. So the internet is the artificial version of connecting the world. Mushroom is a natural version of connecting the world together. And so we are now going into December, which is the winter, or which is the cold season. And this is when mushrooms thrive. Mushrooms are very powerful for boosting the body's immune system. The mushroom that he may have heard me talking about is either the reishi mushroom or the Ganoderma mushrooms, which are mushrooms that act as what we call adaptogens. So they help the body to deal with stress. A lot of the issues that we have is stress related, and stress doesn't mean that stress that is in the conscious mind. It's possible for the body to be under stress and you yourself don't feel stress. All right? And so one of the things that helps us to adjust to stress, that helps the body to adjust to stress, is mushroom. We have like the lion's mane mushroom, we have the reishi mushroom, we have the Ganoderma mushrooms, and these are substances that help the body to adjust to stress, and also they boost the body's immune system. So that may be the mushroom that we're talking about. And as I said, you will find that in nature knows that we're now going into a season where bacteria, molds, pathogens naturally thrive. And so in response to that, nature at the same time is producing mushrooms in abundance, because mushrooms also love that moist, damp, cool environment. And so it's a powerful medicine, that's available to us now. I saw two questions. One from G: does honey contribute to energy? And definitely, honey is a carbohydrate. It is a simple sugar. And so what we really want is that we really want to get sugars in the body that are simple. Simple meaning the body is easily to utilize that sugar. So there's simple sugars and there are complex sugars. We want to move away from the complex sugars. We want to get the simple sugars. So examples of complex sugars are the crystal, sugar crystals that we use, and the artificial sweeteners that we use. Examples of good sweeteners are like fruits. These are simple sugars that the body utilizes fairly easy. But one has to be very careful, because more and more, a lot of persons have developed an intolerance to honey. And so you want to be careful how you ingest honey. But those are good examples of simple sugars. MSB says, I have a hiatal hernia, and I would like your recommendation. For hernias, natural medicine has its limitation. I don't know, it may be. But when you have a hernia, because of what causes the hernia, the best approach is really to do a surgery, because usually that hernia is the result of a tear in the wall of the intestine that results in an accumulation of fluid, or it results in an accumulation of air. And so that the best way to resolve that is to really cut that area, to stitch it, to mend that area. But depending on how bad it is, there are proteins, because the body is supposed to heal itself. As we get older, what happens is that our body ability to manufacture certain proteins are reduced. One of those proteins is, of course, collagen, right? So the older we get, our bodies produce less protein that is responsible for healing and repairing itself. So sometimes like a collagen supplement or increasing your collagen can help, but depending, most times, the best thing is just do a surgery, because we also look at when the benefits outweigh the risk, and because those surgeries are very common and very done a lot, there's not a lot of risk there, and the benefit is that you heal quicker. So sometimes you have to consider that as well.
All right. Let me answer a couple of questions here. Anthony, you say you have a medical negotiation case. Mute a little bit of that, because it's yeah, thank you. The medical negotiation case. I think someone mentioned, I don't know who mentioned in the chat, said that they'll provide you with my email, so you can give me a shout. OT, if you don't mind doing that, the Rattigan will. Yeah, that question. If you can just send him the email, please, and then Anthony can contact me through that, and then we can talk. Somebody asked about the lady with the nail salon. That lady is the Consulate General, Jamaican Consulate General in New York, and somebody's calling, but we can't take the call while we are trying to answer questions. So that's another thing. So we won't be able to take questions. If you're watching, we won't be able to take questions while we're trying to complete the answer. And I think you'll agree with that. So the lady with the nail salon, the CG, we're still asking questions about her, because we don't understand why is it that our CG is involved with a commercial establishment in New Jersey, and she's assigned to the office in New York. And the reason why we say that is because of her own language, her writings, where she referred in this is. I forget that system for kind of make the calls and come in and light up, because what means that it's kind of disturbing when I try to explain the thing and the calls are coming in see me. But anyway, so our CG is being paid by the taxpayers of Jamaica, and at the same time she's running a business, or at least she's involved in a business. And we say this because of what she has written, inviting people to come to, she said our, and she used the word we. So we, ours, indicates that she's involved, and we don't expect that from our CG. Plus, there's a convention, an international convention that says that you are to some degree prohibited from operating a commercial establishment, a business, when you are serving your country on foreign soil. That you shouldn't be doing that. You should be involved only with the business of your country. You should be representing the people of your country in that foreign country where you are. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve the business entity, and at the same time you're trying to serve the people of Jamaica. And by the way, we want to know how the taxes pay, because as a diplomat you don't pay taxes. If you're assigned to America, you don't pay American taxes based on the salary received from the Jamaican government. But if you're operating a commercial establishment, how does that work? Because now the income is not from the Jamaican government. The income is from people living in America. So we don't know how that is. We don't know that is going to pan out. And then, you know, there are some other concerning things that we have concerning the CG regarding the establishment of a company called Cyberlock. The CG has no knowledge about cyber. Maybe she does know, but at the time she established that company, she had no knowledge about cyber. None, zero. And the question we're asking is, and by the way, she wasn't CG at the time when she established Cyberlock. So the question we're asking is, was she in contact with the Prime Minister? And did the Prime Minister play any role in the lady's establishment of the company called Cyberlock? We just want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Some people already, I believe, know the answer, but we just want to know. We don't know the answer. We want to know. Let me take this call and then I'll come back to the point about separation of powers and judicial independence. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Where are you calling from?
Jamaica.
All right, talk to me. Welcome.
What go on, Mr. Ratti?
Medea. How about you?
All is well, man.
All right. So talk to me. The doctor here with me now. So what is the question that's troubling you now?
Yeah, the question that's troubling me now, because this even our present focuses on the justice system and whether there is marked improvement since the efficient of Mr. Justice type. So we have Mr. Rattigan as the panelist here to help us. Mr. Ratti. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
First question to you. Is enough has been done to facilitate greater access to legal service? And does the present justice system reflect a balanced approach, and are we heading in the right direction?
All right, I'm going to answer that question there.
It's all right. You tell me I'm a big while ago. You never answer the first question.
You know, pay attention to the program, you know. Are you call and interrupt? Well, I know. We just going to answer the question about separation of powers and judicial interpretation. And we say, you never listen. We say,
independent.
I'm say, let me take that card and then answer. But the question you ask about Justice Sykes and whether we're going in the right direction.
Mariba.
Oh, you're right.
Our present, receiving our focus on the justice system and where there is marked improvement in the efficiency and the appointment of justice side. So we have Mr. Rattigan here as an analyst to help us. Correctly. The first question to you is enough has been done to facilitate greater access, and does the present justice system reflect a balanced approach, and are we heading in the right direction?
All right, balanced approach. Well, a second, don't come off it. But you're full of question tonight, though.
Essential number.
All right. Hang up and let me answer the question then, please.
All right.
All right, cool. All right. Now, let's start with the last one. Are we heading in the right direction with the justice system? Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask some of the people who whenever they're investigated, their investigation somehow, somewhere doesn't get to the point where they end up in prison. They'll tell you that it's working for them. You know, it's working. But if you talk to most of the people in Jamaica, they'll tell you that it's not going in the right direction. The justice system, to some degree, it's not going in the right direction, but then on other fronts, we see improvement. And I'll tell you where we see some improvement. We see some improvement with the states of emergency, the detainees. We see where the courts came out and said, no, this is unconstitutional. You can't just pick up people and just hold them indefinitely, against their will. No arrest, no charge. You can't do that. And as a matter of fact, Jamaica is now paying back some of these victims, right? That's one area where we see the court stood up and exerted or exhibited judicial independence. We see it in several other instances. We just saw one not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, with Mr. Hugh Wildman, where the principal was charged for pornography. And he was waiting 9 years for his case to be called. And Mr. Wildman made a constitutional argument saying that this was a breach of the right to a speedy trial. He made the other argument that there was the other side of the argument, undue delay in bringing this man to justice. And the judge agreed and threw it out. Now, when it's at the justice system, you have to include the DPP. And there we're having a lot of problems. Lots and lots of problems we're having. We shouldn't have this situation where we have an acting DPP and then her term was further extended while we're waiting for the court to determine whether or not the former DPP should be returned, should be granted the extension passed as an amendment to the Constitution, or whether she should go home. The justice system is, and CMOC, that monitoring group, one of the things they came up with was to improve the judiciary. And we really don't see any, we see some, but they're not appreciable. They're not, helping the cause of the common man. We just don't see that. And therein lies a huge problem. Justice Sykes, yes, he's a tremendous asset to the judiciary, but he's just one person. And we don't have enough judges in Jamaica. That's another thing. We don't have enough facilities, right? We don't have enough assistance to help these people conduct themselves in a way whereby we can see justice being dispensed with. But yet we see where money is flowing, because we heard the justices, they got an increase. And we heard that they're building courthouses and they're doing this and they're doing that. And then when you talk to people who are involved in the justice sector, they tell you that none of this is happening. Justice in Jamaica is taking too long. It just takes too long. And if you include the penal institutions in the justice sector, we have an additional problem where we have people, remember the man who was in prison for about 40, 50 years, and them never charge him? How could that happen? How could you have somebody in custody for such a long period of time and there's no resolution to the matter for which he was brought in the first instance? And I could just go on and on and on about problems with the justice system. So when you say balanced approach, it depends on who you are. If you come from certain places, yes, you'll say it's balanced, because you're not going to prison. So you will say it's balanced. But in truth and in fact, it needs a lot to be desired. It needs a lot to be desirable as well. Justice system is collapsing in Jamaica, no matter what I'm telling you. We have some good people there, but the system itself, no, has to be revised. And that's one of the things they should look at when they talk about, constitutional amendment. But that's a whole other story. You asked the question about, so we dealt with Justice Sykes. Greater access? No, people are not getting greater access to the court system in Jamaica. The people call me, want me to represent them, and I don't have I don't have a license for Jamaica, because I cannot find people willing to take their case. And then keep in mind that a lot of these people are poor people. They have valid cases, but they don't have the funding to support the valid cases. They don't. And it's not like here, because in America, lawyers sue for everything. Everything them sue for. In Jamaica, it has been documented, at least in the minds of many, that lawyers don't sue lawyers in Jamaica. And that lawyers don't sue certain people in Jamaica. Now, it may not be widespread, but it is enough so that it is common commentary. And that is sad. They don't, and then some the lawyers, they just, if you don't have money to come on, some of these lawyers, the fees that they're charging, just outrageous. People can't afford these fees. And they're not doing it, where they said, okay, all right, fine, on a contingency basis, I'll represent you, and whatever you get, I'll get a third, plus expenses. They still want money up front. Now, regarding your question about separation of powers and judicial independence, separation of powers, you're right. It's not spelled out in the Constitution. But remember that not everything is spelled out in the Constitution. If you look at all of the, you can go through and look at the penal code, you can look at some of the civil statutes and all of that, administrative code. They're not in the Constitution. So a lot of these are derived from English common law. So you know that they have the executive, the legislative, and the legislative, executive, and the judiciary. 3 branches of government. They're not spelled out in terms of separation in the Constitution, but they're there. They're there because where did we get our laws from? England. So that's the basis where you'll find it. Whatever you cannot find in the Constitution, you'll find it someplace. You'll find it, you know, as a tradition coming out of British common law, or you'll find it in some statute. But keep in mind that if you look into the Constitution as the answer for all of the questions you may have regarding separation of powers and how government function, you won't find all the answers there. You'll find some, because the Constitution is just a broad outline of how government and the country, how they're supposed to function. But by no means is it comprehensive and detailed. So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, just link me and we can get a bit deeper in it. Then how that person end up in prison without a trial? Something, right? Yeah. Ubuntu, you'd be surprised. It happens frequently. People end up in a prison or jail, and they don't have a trial for. Some of them don't have a trial at all. Some of them don't have a trial for a long, long time. So I suspect that with the recent judgment coming out of that case where Mr. Hugh Wildman represented the defendant, that defense will now be used by a lot of people to free a lot of people in prison who haven't been, people who haven't been charged, or people who have been charged, but it's just taking a long time for them to get in front of a judge or a jury so that they can resolve the issue. So and rest assured that the politicians, the ones under investigation, the ones charged, that they're thinking about this. So every time there's a delay, believe me, they're thinking about using this defense, and it's going to happen. It is going, well, it happened already. Who remembers the Westcon investigation last year with the prime minister and some of his business partners? Who remembers that investigation? If you remember it, they did not charge the prime minister because they allowed him to be in. They interviewed him twice, which was a mistake, and we won't get into that. But the big mistake. However, the corruption prosecutor said that there were people involved. There were people involved in that scandal. That the evidence is there and should have been charged. However, she said because of the abuse of process defense, she's not going to charge them. Now, what is abuse of process? There's something called statute of limitations. And statute of limitations says that you have a certain amount of time in which to charge somebody or bring an action in court. Otherwise, you forego that right to do so. So if they said, okay, you have 2 years from the date of an event to bring an action against somebody, whether civil or criminal, and you don't, then you're forbidden unless there's an exception to that. But generally, they give you a certain amount of time to bring the action. And if you don't bring the action, then that's it. Well, guess what? The crime of corruption in its many forms. In Jamaica, there is no statute of limitations. That means if somebody committed an act of corruption 10 years ago, and you can put the evidence together 10 years later, then you can bring the charge. But the corruption prosecutor said, no, the abuse of process to me is a substitute for the statute of limitations. It's saying that too much time passed, memories might fade, documents might be missing, other things might have been contaminated over the years, and therefore we're not going to bring. But that's not what the corruption prosecutor said. She didn't say any of those things. However, and nevertheless, she still didn't charge those people. But she came out and said they could have been charged. So stand by for this defense. Abuse of process and the constitutional breach based on undue delay. Stay tuned for those two defenses to be used widely in a number of cases. It will free up a whole heap of poor people, you know, who in a prison, you know. If they can get a lawyer, talk about access to the legal system. If they can get a lawyer to represent them, it's going to free up a whole heap of them. But the white collar criminals, you know, the ones who not the sucking the lifeblood out of you without shooting you or stabbing you or whatever, they won't face the kind of justice that they should face in Jamaica. And just watch, mark my words, it's going to happen. Next question. What is your immediate feedback with regard to what is happening right now in terms of policy in regards to the national security of our country? Policy implementation. Look, Jamaica does not need another crime plan. There so many of them. I think there are like about 7, 8 of them. It has a national security plan. The problem is implementation. And we know that the problem is not money, because our current Minister of National Security said that between 2016 and 2023, he was planning to spend 1.2, I think, billion with a B, US dollars, to enhance and upgrade the security architecture in Jamaica. And the question is, where is that money? How was that money spent? Who benefited from it? Because we're still hearing stories about lack of resources. So my feedback is this, that we don't have, first thing is that we have people who don't know what they're doing. Case in point, we have a medical doctor in charge of our national security. We have an athlete who's the number 2 person. And we have a police commissioner who I don't believe has ever arrested anybody. I don't believe he's ever been a street investigator. He came in as an assistant superintendent, I believe, and he's an IT person. So when you have that kind of leadership, what do you expect? What do you expect? I rest my case. Any more questions? Newcomer's job performance so far. Poor. Poor. And I'll tell you why. Because he's been on this job almost 20 years. He's been a member of the JCF for almost 20 years. He witnessed everything that happened, all the good things, all the bad things. And no, you hardly see him, you hardly hear from him. One of the things you must have as a police commissioner is presence, people, especially in a case like Jamaica, where the crime rate is one of the murder rate is one of the highest in the world. You need to have a presence. You need to be out there, showing people that you care, showing people that you know what you're doing, you know, inspiring it, all of the things that a leader is supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing that. And they brag and they tell you that they spent the most money, but guess what? The results speak for themselves. The results with the most money spent are worse than before with less money spent. Don't forget, people, that when this government took over the reins of power in Jamaica, the murder rate was 1,208. We have not seen 1,208 or less since 2015. 2015. Right? And here it is that they're bragging and saying we spend more money than anybody else. They buy a boat, I think it's like for $70-something million, claiming it's state of the art and it's patrolling the waters off of Jamaica, blah, blah, blah. And yet still we have Haitians on rafts and make sure come on the shores of Jamaica, and we have boat out at sea. We can't pick them up. So, and I can just go on and on and on, but the doc there, I want the doc answer some questions, some herb questions, some medical questions. So I'm share the platform tonight. But I could go on and on and on and tell you about the deficiencies with the JCF and how, you know, its partnership with the JDF, how it's a failure, its partnership with the other investigatory and agencies in Jamaica, complete utter failure, and it is going to continue, because as long as you have amateurs, as long as you have incompetence, as long as you have lazy people, as my father said, don't care people, this is going to happen. So just prepare for it to get worse. I think we've gone over 1,208 murders already. And keep in mind that they're not telling you, people have been preaching this. They're telling you that this is the amount of homicides committed in the country so far, whatever the number is. But what they're not telling you is that they have a big pool called death investigation, where they might try to figure out all them people are dead. And there are people in that pool from 2016. 2016 till now, 8 years. You can't tell me how this man died. You have people here 2016, 2017 till now. They don't want to tell you the number of missing persons. They don't want to tell you the number of death due to self-defense. There's another one, death due to suicide. This is what they're saying. And you have to be very careful, because remember, you know, I think the deputy in the Tower Street Correctional Facility, he drove his car off Spur Tree, and if that wasn't good enough for him, he got out and found a tree and hung himself. And they say that it's suicide. What a way to go! What a way for commit suicide! What a way for commit suicide! Drive your car off of, there's so many ways to commit suicide, but you choose this way. Drive your car off over a precipice, and you're not dead, and you come out and then you go commit suicide. You go hang yourself. Do you believe that? It's up to you, people. Common sense is not so common these days. And that's why they can tell people this foolishness and people just believe. Common sense is in short supply. What's the next question? Question in terms of the delivery of high standard of justice, mission statement of the court for is trial date certain? No, the trial date not certain in Jamaica. We know that. We know that. Trial date not certain in Jamaica. And that's why they have this abuse of process and constitutional breach. That's why they have these defenses. And they're going to get away. They start already, and they're going to get away with it. The judges will have no choice but to say, no, you can't keep a man, you know, for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 7 years, whatever, and the man no face justice. You can't do that. And we know what's going to happen in Jamaica. Dockets will be missing. Memories will fade. Evidence will disappear. And some people might say, I'm indicting the system. Yes, I am. Because too many instances of these things have been going on over the years. And people just accept it. And when you accept it, they will give it to you more and more. And Jamaicans, we have to wake up. And that's why, you know, I'm so adamant about this, that we have to rise up. Legally, we have to rise up. We have a vibrant civil society. We have a vibrant church. We have a vibrant business community. We have a vibrant academic community. But where this vibrancy, where has it led us? If you notice, the government just continue to do what they want, because them say all them people are doing chat. That's all. And them don't talk long enough. Them talk for a little bit. Well, some of them don't even talk against the government. I don't know the groups I talk about, but they don't even talk against the government. There are groups that speak out against the government, but I don't think they do it enough. They send out a press release, and then that's the end of that. They have to get involved. You have to, and a lot of the things that we are trying, the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, and you ever said trying, right? A lot of things we are trying. There are things that occur or that we're doing outside of Jamaica, because we understand and we appreciate the fact that not many things will get done in Jamaica. They will slow roll it. So we are trying to get international organizations, foreign governments, donor agencies, we're trying to get them involved. We're doing everything we can. So that's where we are. Any question? Any more questions? You commission keyboard warrior. My name sure I'm a keyboard warrior, you know. Name sure about that. By the way, I talk about keyboard warrior. Them offer me a job one time, you know, for come to Jamaica and help out with the cyber thing. I'm tell them say they meaning not the Jamaican government. I'm telling them say no, me not look no job. But me will help. And there's another job that's coming up that I want to talk to them about. And I need an opinion as to whether or not I should move forward with this. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Turn down the device for me, please.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
My voice is very low because I'm sick with my throat.
Go ahead, please.
Anyway, I want to ask this one first to Doc. What remedies there for someone who has sciatic nerve problem pain? That's one. And this next one is for you, Mr. Rattigan. Why do you think the Prime Minister wants the term illicit enrichment removed from the Act? Why do you think he wants that to remove?
Okay. Doc, go ahead, please.
Did you get my question?
Yeah.
I didn't hear a question so clearly.
All right. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't hear a question so clearly. I heard you said something about sciatic, but the question wasn't really clear.
All right, caller. I just wrote on sciatic as well, so I'm not sure. If you don't mind, you can call back and clarify the question regarding sciatic, your sciatic condition. Illicit enrichment. Why doesn't the Prime Minister? Why the Prime Minister want to get rid of it? Very simple. Very simple. Because it's not being applied to him. Very simple. Look how many people they've applied this particular section 14, subsection 5 of the Corruption Prevention Act. Look how many people they've applied it to. I wouldn't hear nothing. And then now it's being applied to him, and him seriousness of it, and him like, whoa, I need to get rid of it. But here's the thing, people, and I've asked for it. I've asked for the records of the discussion in Parliament concerning the Corruption Prevention Act of 2000. Why? Because our Prime Minister was an MP back then. I think he entered Parliament in 1996, so he was there. So I want to see what he said. What was his contribution to the discussion? Because the only thing the only thing that can save him, as far as I'm concerned, is if he voiced an objection to section 14, subsection 5, and said, "Well, I mean, I like it, but," and then the consensus got the better of his view, and he was outvoted. That's the only thing. Because if I see him agree with it and voted on it and it passed, then there's a big problem. Because the question never be, but Mr. Prime Minister, you never have a problem with it when you discussed it openly in Parliament with your colleagues. You didn't have a problem with it over the years when amendments were made. But now you have a problem because them say I investigate you for illicit enrichment. People say, what could go so? No, none of that. I saw it go. So we are wait to see the records now, to go through the records, comb through the records and say who said what when that bill was discussed in Parliament. And also we want to see the records later on concerning any amendment made to it, because we don't have the record in front of us, but we just suspect that the Prime Minister did not voice an objection to the illicit enrichment provision of the law. And so, dog name him supper, because I don't think him have an argument now coming out and saying that him want to get rid of it. And again, we know why. We know why. Somebody asked a question about the nexus between efficient justice system and crime prevention. That's going to take a whole program. But here's the thing: start out with the principle that you can't prevent every crime. Start out with that. Start out with crime reduction, not crime prevention. When I say crime prevention, people get the impression that you can stop crime completely. You cannot. You cannot. It's not going to happen. I'll get back to your question, but let me take this call from Philadelphia. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. How are you?
Okay, let me repeat my question to Doc now. Question for Doc. Doc, are you listening?
Yeah, he can hear you.
Should I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. The doctor can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah,
Doc. What remedy is there for someone
I never
who
my program,
has
man. When's my program? Come Reason with Rattigan. I'll take question.
I think she says.
Go on. No, go on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and just type in Come Reason with Rattigan.
What remedy is there for, what remedy do you recommend for someone who has sciatic nerve damage pain?
All right, I heard it. I got you now. All right. So, sciatic nerve damage, and the sciatic nerve is a nerve that runs in the back of your.
Caller, you can hang up. Hold on a second, Doc. Caller, you can hang up and just listen to the answer.
All right. So the sciatic nerve is a nerve that runs in the back of your leg all the way down, and in terms of remedy, well, that's what she's asking. What remedy would I recommend for sciatica? Now, typically what happens is the sciatic nerve is what we would call has a lot of tension, and you don't necessarily need to take something orally for it. What you need to do is there's a therapeutic massage is what you need to release the tension in the therapy in the sciatic nerve. So there's a very simple therapy that can be done where you can lie on your side, exposing the area where the sciatic nerve has tension, and a person who has knowledge and who has experience can use their elbow to just apply a little pressure in the area and massage in a circular motion. I remember, and that as simple as it sounds is pretty much what needs to be done. We've done this many times. I remember one client took his wife all the way from England. Can you imagine? All the way from England to see me in my office in St. Thomas. And all we did was just put her on the bed and did that simple procedure, and that was it. And she was saying, that's it. He was saying, that's it. I said, that's it. And he went back home and showed him what to do, and he repeated it for a couple times, and he reported that that was the end of his wife's sciatic discomfort. So you don't need to take a supplement for that. What you need is a certain type of therapy.
Let me somebody who is it? They just said it's Ashton. Yeah, we have a running conversation here. He said he's asking about the efficiency of the justice system and crime prevention. And then he went on to say, so what I heard, meaning what I heard he's talking about me, what he's hearing from me is that it's the Jamaican justice system is too slow, too fragmented, too uncertain, too costly. And Ashton, some people would add too corrupt and too backwards. People, you will hear that from some people because, again, example, in this day and age, this digital day and age, what we are doing with the big police book, and where people can tear out page and make all kind of markings, and what we are doing with that, all right? And if you look at policing in Jamaica, what they've done is they have tinkered around the edges of the problems. They haven't dealt with it in a wholesome manner. policing in Jamaica is still being done on a large scale as a reaction to crime. Jamaican police or the Jamaican justice, criminal justice, it's not proactive. And it's not predictive. And that's where the world is going right now, to predictive policing. And for predictive policing, you need to digitize the system. You need to have an intelligence center. And Jamaica is not there. Jamaica, look at it, right? Something have to happen and then they react, right? You never hear, here's what I would like to see in Jamaica. I would like to see an intelligence center where they have analysts and investigators working there, and they're looking across the globe. They're looking for trends. They're looking for emerging threats, and they're looking for trends. And so something could happen in Hong Kong, for example, that's making its way west, right? You could see it in Europe, you could see it in Africa, and then Jamaica can say, all right, fine, you know what? They can do a white paper on it and say, we see this threat. It could be a cyber threat, it could be a terrorist, it could be any kind of threat, but have somebody looking at the issue, and then you start making preparation. And even if it doesn't come to your country, you could also help another country. You see me, I say, or you can big up yourself. You can say, hey, listen, we have done a piece on this thing here, and we see where you're being affected by it. Here is how we would address the problem. And that's called building relationships. So it's not just fighting crime in your country, and it's fighting crime, helping to fight crime in other countries, helping to fight crime in the region. But they're still thinking in the 1870s construct, which is something happened and we just beat up some boy, or we just kill some people. And you let them tell you about intelligence-led policing. Ask the good doctor, ask him to come and explain the intelligence cycle to you. Not just tell you, but tell you what it is and explain it to you and make you understand how it's functioning in Jamaica. He can't do it. He can't do it. He's not sufficiently equipped to talk about them issues there. Them issues, they're bigger on him. And those are the issues that he needs to address in Jamaica. So where are we? The issues are there and the issues are not being addressed. So my friend, when you say it's too slow, too fragmented, too uncertain, too costly, we need to add too backwards though. And some people would add too corrupt. Because we've seen so many cases dismissed as a result of poor investigation. So many cases. And we've seen a lot of cases too dismissed because of inadequate legal effort. We're talking about the DPP now. Poor track record. Very poor track record. And these are the things we have to deal with. These are the things we have to deal with. They're clearing up the backlog of cases through plea agreement. Could be fair to avoid having to avoid breach of backlog of cases through plea agreement. Yeah. But what form does the plea agreement take? What form? And how is that going, by the way? You should ask them that. How is that going? Up Jamaica style of policing, it's called job security. For some, yes, the high command, the people who don't do no work. Look, let me just tell you this. Jamaica, the JCF, it has a corrupt population in there, but it's very small. Like any organization, you're going to find your bad apples, and they do have bad apples in there, but the overwhelming majority of the people of the JCF, they're dedicated, hardworking public servants, but they're not being provided with the necessary tools to do their job. And it's not me say this, it's them say it. How you can call police to respond to a crime and the police will have to take taxi for come respond to the crime? That makes sense. I told a friend of mine that today, no doc. I told a friend of mine that today. And I'm dead with laugh. Them dead with laugh. Them say they can't believe that. police have to take taxi for go respond to scene of crime. It makes no sense. Or you call the police and they say, we don't have any vehicles here, so we can't come. Or the closest one to you, the closest police station to you, they can't respond. They have to call another police station miles away because they have a vehicle. The one close to you, they do have a vehicle. Dr. Ben, I'll yield to you. There's a question for you.
All right. So I see Roy Payne talking about vinegar and Lipton tea. Vinegar is very good for sprains. I don't know if it's the same strain as an experience, but I know that vinegar is very good, especially vinegar and the, traditionally the bottom part of the banana, the green banana, the trunk, you can cut it off, soak it in vinegar, and it also helps with pain as well. But as it relates to the sciatica, what I was saying is that the sciatic nerve, if the person is placed on a hard surface like a table, and if you feel across the buttocks, there's a little indentation right there. Pretty much there's a therapy that can be used where a person can take their elbow, and if they can find that very tender spot, if you press it, it will be very tender, and just apply a little pressure from the elbow and just slowly massage that area in a circular motion. At first, it will be very, 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 very painful, but by carefully massaging the area, the pain will gradually go away. And by about 2 or 3 or 4 sessions, that's it. The sciatic discomfort goes away fully.
Doc, I have a question for you. One of our dearest supporters says they would like you to, and by the way, people, we can't use big words around here, but we keep it simple because we want everybody to understand what we are saying. Right? I was just going to use the word elucidate. Ask the doctor to elucidate, but no, I said, doctor just explain things. So we want to make that clear that we can't use big words like some of them other people, but we're not going to do that because we are talking to our people and we are talking to all our people. So if the least educated among us can understand it, everybody can understand, and that's the whole point, to reach as many people as we can, provide as much information as we can in a timely fashion. But Doc, the question is this: can you talk to us about mushrooms a little bit more, because some people are saying some mushrooms, they're poisonous. So how do you determine the ones that can help you from the ones that will hurt you?
Well, there are many different kinds of mushrooms, and I'll talk about what I know. I've had the privilege of working with a mushroom specialist that's pretty much here in Jamaica a lot. There's a lot of work in terms of identifying mushrooms and helping persons to identify mushrooms. But by and large, what I want to talk about are those mushrooms that we know about. So there are some mushrooms that have what we call psychedelic properties, which means that if you consume them, they can give you a high, right? And that has been gaining a lot of traction because, there are persons out there who don't just take substance for medicinal, but take it for recreational uses. So there are some mushrooms that are out there that are more what we call psychedelic mushrooms that are taken for their recreational uses. There are mushrooms that are more nutritional, like the regular mushrooms that you could go to the supermarket and you can get and you can buy and you can eat. Those are what we call nutritional mushrooms that are very good sources of protein. And then there are some mushrooms that are powerful because they contain compounds that boost the body's immune system, help the body to rest, help the body to relax. So we're talking about mushrooms like the lion's mane, we're talking about the reishi mushrooms, we're talking about mushrooms like the ganoderma, and mushrooms like those that are used for therapeutic purposes. And so those are mushrooms that work because they boost the body's immune systems, 1, or they help the body to adjust to stress, 2. Those are mostly how those therapeutic mushrooms work. There are some that particularly work on certain ailments. And so, by and large, that's a general use of those mushrooms. But there are some out there that are also, I wouldn't say poisonous, I would say powerful. And the reason why they're called poisonous is because these have to be taken in special doses. Whereas some herbs or some mushrooms can be taken in dosages where you don't have to be particularly careful. These are mushrooms that, because of certain chemicals in them, if they are taken in wrong amounts, it can be lethal.
There's another question. Just another question. Oh, here it is. Dr. Ben, could you elaborate on a time frame for a show?
Kidney tonic.
Yeah.
2 weeks to a month. 2 weeks to 4 weeks is a good time. But 2 weeks should be enough. I would say cycles of 2 weeks. So you want to do 2 weeks, break for a week, and then do another 2 weeks. But if you're taking the herbs in the right dosage, in the right amounts, at the right time, 2 weeks should be enough for you to resolve most issues in the kidney.
Here's another question. I'm having a lot of pain in my lower lumbar and sciatic nerve pain from my right buttocks.
Good.
All the way down to my toe. What can I use for the pain?
Right. So that's what I was talking about. In your right buttocks. So that is the area in which the sciatic nerve is inflamed. So you would lie on your left side. There's no real product you can take for that because the sciatic nerves is kind of like, if you want to say it's in a hole. Right? So you lie on your left side and you would ask somebody to just pass their finger over the buttocks, make a cross until they find that tender spot. And once they find that tender spot with you lying on a hard surface, that person would now take their elbow and gently place it in that area and then apply a little pressure until it is a little tenderness and just gently rub it in a circular motion for about 5 minutes. After about 5 minutes, that tenderness is going to gradually just disappear. It won't go away the first time, but about 3 or 4 more sessions and that sciatic nerve discomfort will be gone.
Here's another question. What should be taken for high cholesterol?
All right, so if you're having high cholesterol, then the first thing you want to do is you want to look at what's contributing to the high cholesterol. So you want to stay away from foods that are high cholesterol. Even though coconut oil is good, coconut oil is noted to have lots of cholesterol. Even though it is good cholesterol, so you want to stay away from that. And then you want to get foods that are what we call pungent. That's the herb action that you want. You want foods like ginger and garlic that will help to get the cholesterol that is inside you out. Mark, it's not easy to get rid of cholesterol because it would have taken time for it to be accumulated. All right, and by the way, cholesterol is, we are supposed to get cholesterol from nuts and grains. That's where we are supposed to get it from naturally. And so a lot of times we ingest too much animal-based fat, and so that fat solidifies at room temperature. And that's where the problem is. So you want to get your cholesterol down, and you want to get your cholesterol naturally from nuts and grains. All right. And so over a period of time, if you change your diet without even taking anything, if you change your diet, your cholesterol will just gradually be lowered until it's gone.
Hey, Petro, no, that starts with me and my sleeping habits, or sleeping bad habits. All right, Petro. Go on. Doc, what is your take on this?
What's that? Where's the question?
There it is right here.
Vinegar and brown paper bags, soap the paper in the vinegar and put it on the affected area. Yep, that can work as well because vinegar, as I said, vinegar is so. But what that person is, what Carol is describing is a poultice, right? Is a poultice, and as I was saying, that you can also use the banana, the root of the banana. You can get the banana root, cut it up, soak it in cane, white vinegar. It's a cane vinegar, and you can also apply it to the area. And once you apply it to the area, then it will also get rid of that discomfort as well.
Is there a website to order your products?
Yeah, ICM Wellness Marketplace ICM Wellness
Okay, could you just drop that? Could you drop that in the chat, please? Go ahead. The ICM dot .net marketplace.
I'm typing it.
Okay.
Oh. I think they have to type it. It says this comment has failed to post.
Go ahead, just say it again.
It says ICM Wellness Marketplace. One word. ICM Wellness Marketplace.net.
Okay. And then I see where Ashden is asking about policy again. Is one whose ministry is probably concerned with our government broad policy framework. Look, Ashden, Jamaica don't need no more policy, brethren. Trust me. If you go and you just do the research, you'll find that almost any criminal activity you can think of, there's a plan for it in Jamaica. When I say a plan for it, them have broad plans and them have specific plans. The thing is this: there's no implementation, or very little implementation.
I see where Ilian is saying, Dr. Ben, you inside the USA, sir. Aren't you to answer? You are losing money. Those sciatic patients would love. All right, so everything is not about money. I thank you for considering me, Elaine. But it's and that's good. And thank you for considering. But everything isn't about money. It's really about to help persons. As I said, the greatest weapon against sickness and disease is education, not medication. And by the way, the website that I just mentioned, ICMWellnessMarketplace.net, we just launched it. We do have a course there. We're looking for persons to train to become herbalists. If you call me, sometimes it's difficult because I have so many. I didn't want to say this, but I sneaked into New York a couple of weeks ago, and then Rattigan found out. And I was trying for him not to find out because I made a commitment to some persons. So I wanted to go to New York, see those persons and their friends. And then Rattigan found out. And then here it was. So many more people turned up that I didn't want to. Because I'm trying to really, in order for me to manage what I do, I need persons. I'm looking for persons to train. So the good thing is I've left New York and I have 2 persons in New York that I can see persons through and that I'm working with to help them. So, I love what I do, but what I love to do is to share the knowledge. It is really to impart the knowledge to persons.
Let me just say welcome to all of you just joining us, whether it's the first time or you're a regular, but you're just joining us. As a country girl, Venus song, Latti, Alien, a few.
All right.
Yeah, big up on yourself. If I didn't call any name, forgive me. Because my brethren, Ashden, have me run up and down, answer policy questions. But like I was saying, Jamaica, if you go back and you look at the national security policy, I mean, I think it's a big document, and if you look at all of the other documents, and if you look at the sectoral presentations on national security, I mean, interesting stuff coming out of it. But then when you say to yourself, okay, where does the rubber meet the road, or did the rubber meet the road? Answer is going to be no. No. So it's about implementation. Implementation takes a mindset. It takes a mindset. It takes resources as well, but it takes a mindset. And we're woefully lacking in that area in Jamaica. Somebody else, Shelly and Irving is asking, how about pain in the feet?
Well, that's a very vague question. How about pain in the feet? There can be so many causes of pain in the feet. It could be the wrong type of shoes. It could be the fact that you're standing for a long period of time. It could be bone related. It could be muscle and nerve related. So that's a very difficult question to answer. But overall, once you're feeling pain, it's really caused by inflammation. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get to the root of the inflammation. It's really difficult to tell a person what to do if you don't know what the cause of the inflammation is.
Petro, my friend, I was sick, still sick. Surgery schedule soon, and I'll keep you updated on that. Doc knows
nerve spin. All right,
No,
so
yeah. All right, go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
all right, so nerve pain. Lady's saying nerve pain. So if it's nerve pain, then one of the best approach maybe massage therapy or reflexology, because usually once you're having pain, usually there's usually it can be damage to the nerve, but reflexology is a very good therapy. Also, you could go and see your chiropractor, but the best person to see is a reflexologist or podiatrist sometimes to just look at the foot to see if maybe you're applying too much pressure on one part of the foot, or your weight is not being evenly distributed. So reflexology is maybe the best. Somebody, Carol says heel spur. Heel spur is if you're having heel spur, it's really an indication of a much bigger problem. All right, if you're having heel spur, and heel spur basically is where the bone is growing spurs on it. So if you're having heel spur, it's really an indication of calcification. All right, and so if it is calcification, then you need the herbal action that you need is what we call salty herbs, right? Because salty herbs get rid of calcification in the body. The calcification is where there's a excess buildup of calcium in the blood, and so on certain parts of the bone. If you're having heel spur, let me know, Carl, if you're also having lower back pain, because once you're having heel spur, it's really an indication that there is calcification, and so you tend to also have lower back pain or pinched nerve, and you may need to reach out to me on my site, icmwellnessmarketplace.net. Just look for consultation, and that's a good place to book consultation. But in general, what you need is salty herb. One of the most powerful salty herb out there is, of course, celery. And there are natural products that you can take that will literally, within a week, there are herbs that you can take that within a week can resolve that issue. But I would love to talk, because more than likely it's an indication of something much bigger, and it has to do with your diet as well.
Okay. Yeah, Petra, thanks. Yvonne says, hello, Rattigan, we just have come. Georgia in the house. Okay, all right, big up yourself, Yvonne. Yeah, I hope so too, Petra. Any more questions? Questions?
Yeah, I heard somebody talk about varicose veins.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked a question about varicose veins. I don't know what's the questions about varicose veins, but I guess
here it is.
What to help with varicose veins? And varicose veins is a condition because your veins have what is called valves, and the valves literally help the flow of blood. And so sometimes when the valves are damaged, then what happens is that the blood stays in the vein, and because it's not moving, it causes the vein to expand. So this affects a lot of people, especially people who stand a lot, or people who eat certain foods that causes their vein to be blocked, right? Some parasites can cause it as well. So depending on what causes it, determines what is going to be the result. In most cases, it's very difficult to resolve. And so icing the foot is maybe one way of managing it. It's easier to manage than to get rid of, because once the veins are damaged, or the vein valves are damaged, it's pretty difficult to reverse it, right? It's pretty difficult to reverse it. And so what we can talk about is how to manage it. Of course, you know that you can get special stockings that are tight, that prevents the vein from further expansion. There are certain massages that you can do to help the blood that is in the vein to move out of the vein. And so those are ways that you can manage it, because it's much more easy to manage it than to reverse it.
There's another one. How do you get rid of athlete's foot?
Athlete's foot mostly is caused by certain bacteria. Wearing the shoes and you know, it's hot. A very good remedy, very good remedy is green banana stain. Funny enough, green banana stain is one of those sure remedies. Papaya stain is one of those sure remedies. Garlic is also another very good remedy to get rid of the issue. And I see Miss Brown says wearing it. Yeah. So once the veins are damaged, once the valves inside the veins are damaged, it's pretty difficult to reverse it.
All right.
It's more easy to try to manage it. So what you want to do is, of course, as I said, wear those tight stockings to keep the veins tight so that they don't expand any further. Because the more blood that gets into those veins, once the valves are damaged, so that the blood can't move, then the veins continue to expand. They continue to expand, and in some cases, the veins can burst and lead to poor circulation, or it can lead to ulcers that are very difficult to get better. But of course, there's massage therapy, which can help. There are certain oils that have what we call pungent herbs, like cloves or ginger or cayenne pepper or black pepper. These are oils that help with circulation. Anything that can help with circulation is very good for that.
So a good friend that time, you know, Megawatt, big up yourself. Lana, Carol, all of the crew there. Listen, I'm gonna ask a question, and I want to get some feedback from all of your family. I want to get some feedback. Now, for those of you in Jamaica who say you can't find work and you're qualified, you know, you're university a graduate, and they say that the best job you can get is at a call center. There is an agency that's hiring in Jamaica, and the application must be in by Friday, November 15th, which is next week Friday. And here are some of the positions. Manager. Well, let me tell you what the name of the agency. The name of the agency is the Integrity Commission. And here are some of the positions. Manager for declarations and financial investigations. Another position, manager for contracts, procurement, and corruption investigations. Another one, senior prosecutor. Another one, legal counsel. Another one, financial investigator. Another one, inspector, licensing and asset divestment / acquisition. Another one, investigating officer, contract procurement and corruption investigation. And the last one is programmer / web developer. And these are jobs advertised by the Integrity Commission. And you notice without much fanfare, you would think that something like this, they would have do public outreach to let people know that, listen, we're looking for qualified people to come in and help us to curb the corruption in Jamaica. Not eliminate it. You can't eliminate corruption, but to curb it. Now, I am seriously thinking now, folks, about applying for some of these positions, because here's what happened. I know that some of the money that should have been spent in the garrisons, the at-risk communities, poor people, or public at large, you know, the public at large, like roads and so on and so forth. I know some of those monies are overseas, sitting in people's bank accounts, are you overseas as assets like homes, cars, boats, yachts, whatever. And I would love to dig up some of them things here. So in Integrity Commission, if you not listen, me would have loved to apply for one of them jobs, and if you not give me the overseas portion, let me deal with it. Because believe me, I go find them things here. I go find them. Whether them put it in a for them name, them Kumbolo name, them family name, whoever name are in the name of a shell company. We are going to find it. We are going to find it. Me have people who can find it. In fact, somebody who can find it, just send a message to them right now. We have a deep dive specialist around here. And we're not talking about somebody who's a middleman or not like that. We're talking about the person who actually do the work, right? And we have some links all over the globe. We can find out things. So, you look at Mrs. say, Mrs. you have your butt. Mrs. say, them now go give you. Them now give you. So, tell me one thing. Tell me one thing if me really should apply for them things. Yeah. And it's a by the way, it says, please be advised that where applicable, only persons who have submitted all required statutory declarations of assets, liabilities, and income can be considered for employment at the Integrity Commission. So what I must say is that you have to be a civil servant making more than $12 million in order to qualify for this, because you don't need a statutory declaration if you earn under 12 million Jamaican dollars. So I don't know who them really reach out to. They need to change this thing. But it also says where applicable. So we have to go find out where is it applicable or where it's not applicable. So that, that's where the exception comes in. Like me would be I would be an exception. And when I say exception, I don't mean an exceptional person. I mean an exception to the rule that you have to submit your statutory declaration. But I think that what they've done is that, like, for example, you have some bright students coming out of UA and UTech, that this would be a career, and it's listed as career opportunities. This would be a career opportunity for them, but they're not making 12 million. So the statutory declaration piece might be a hindrance. Doesn't have to be, because it says we're applicable. So we'll see. But Sophia said nothing more blacklist, man. Kokichi said, I have to apply at night time, dark night. Shirley said, what's the job? Let's see. Who else there now? Patel said, go feed. Send in the application. Royal Babe said that. Yeah. See, I want to send it in, but I want them to know I'm sending it in, and I want the general public to know I'm sending it in to see what the reaction is going to be like. If they're going to have a hiring freeze when they get my application, all of a sudden we're not hiring anymore, or them come up with something and say, well, you have to be a Jamaican living on the island, which to me it don't really make any sense. If you want to stop corruption, you take all necessary measures will not stop it, but to curb corruption. And when we say corruption, we're not talking about corruption where a police officer is asking a motorist or requesting or demanding a bribe from a motorist. We're not talking about that type of corruption. We're talking about the type of corruption that, you don't kill people physically. When I say physically, like with a gun or a knife, but you kill them otherwise, because funding that should go to that community to help that community to become healthy and to become a thriving community. The funding is not there. It's not that the funding was not allocated, it's just that the funding was not dispersed there in that community. And then when you look, you see a politician that drive a big car and can't account for the money. Where I afford the big car and the big this and the big that, cannot account for it. So, Mr. Prime Minister, tomorrow, by the way, is the hearing to determine whether or not the court will grant leave for the Prime Minister to file for judicial review. I am hoping, I am praying that the court will reject the request and say, Mr. Prime Minister, although if you think about it, he have a whole bunch of requests he's asking, but I'm hoping that the court will look at it in totality and say, listen, you don't have a leg to stand on, you don't have a case, you must go through the process like everybody before you did. You must go through the process. So we cannot create exceptions for you, because if we do that, then we might as well create the exception will become the rule, and we won't be able to address the corruption, especially our position on the corruption index. And believe me, folks, I make no bones about it. If I can do something to make Jamaica go down on the corruption index, and what I mean by that, make Jamaica be known as a more corrupt place internationally. If I can do it, I am going to do it. And some people might say, but you have mash up the country. Well, guess what? Things have to get worse before them get better. You have to get rid of, you have to dislodge some of these people. You have to do it. And what happens is that once you start going, you start scraping the bottom of the corruption index, what that means is that you start get the attention of the IMF, the IDB, World Bank, and foreign investors, and donor countries, and other international agencies. Them start look at you and say, well, we can't do business with Jamaica. All right? Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening, Mr. Rattigan. I'm from California.
Yes, sir. How are you doing out there? The 3 hours behind me.
Yeah, 3 hours behind.
Yeah. So yes, it's sunlight now. Yeah.
I'm calling. I have 2 questions. One for Doc and one for yourself.
Go ahead, please.
My first question is: last week I was watching the show, and last week I was watching the show. Well, on Saturday I was watching the show, and Mayor Hugh Wildman, Keith's counsel, came on, and he mentioned that in the Royal Reed case, they're actually litigating as to whether or not the FID has arresting powers and the power to charge Royal Reed. So my question is, if the courts make a decision, say they don't have arresting powers, what now? What's the next step? And aren't that a gaping like a loophole, like a backdoor, which it looked like is a possibility that he's going to walk through? I mean, do we need dentists to write these laws so they can have teeth? Is that I have an issue with my gut. Last time I went to the doctor and they diagnosed me with H. pylori. I don't know if you know anything about that. And one of the symptoms is that I always feel bloated. And I always, especially when I'm hungry, it feels like somebody punched me in the gut. So I'm wondering what kind of solution you have for that. And those are my questions.
Okay. No, go ahead, please.
So, say another question. So H. pylori, which is basically H. pylori is actually a bacteria in the gut, and
I'm not really sure. I'm going to hang up after this list now.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
So H. pylori is basically a bacteria in the gut, and it causes discomfort. One of the first thing you want to do is, first thing is that there are 2 types of bacteria in the gut. So there are harmful bacteria and there are helpful bacteria. Ideally, what should happen is that we need both. We need harmful bacteria, we need helpful bacteria, but we need much more helpful bacteria to control the harmful bacteria. And so, depending on the certain foods that we eat, H. pylori, candida, and a number of other gut conditions is a situation where you have more harmful bacteria than you do have helpful bacteria. And so one of the very good things for the H. pylori is a thing called, that was traditionally used, is colloidal silver. So colloidal silver is very effective. Sometimes, orally as well as rectally. So what you may need to do to really get the H. pylori under control is to do an enema with colloidal silver. Once you do an enema with that, traditionally that's what persons used to use to resolve it. And then you also have to increase the amount of helpful bacteria. You do that through what we call fermented foods or probiotics. You want to increase your probiotics to help manage the H. pylori. That pretty much is what our ancestors used to use to manage H. pylori.
Okay. The question the gentleman asked was about the FID, because he said Mr. Hugh Wildman had said that FID concerning the Rural case, that it's not an investigative body, or it cannot prosecute or cannot arrest, doesn't have arrest powers. Well, I was looking at this issue a while back with going back to SSL, and then I went back and looked at it. I looked at this issue concerning the Prime Minister's the investigation of the Prime Minister conducted by the IC, as well as the Prime Minister's affidavit. And I'll read it to you, and you tell me what you think, right? It says that the Financial Investigative Division, it falls under the Ministry of Finance, and so they report to the Minister of Finance. Listen to this. The main objectives of the division are to investigate allegations of money laundering, financial crimes, and corruption. It says it straight up. One of the main objectives is to investigate, and that you can mute. Yeah, thanks. It says one of the main objectives is to investigate, and it uses that word. The word is there. Investigate allegations of money laundering, financial crimes, and corruption, which is exactly what they're looking at the Prime Minister for. I wouldn't say I don't know about money laundering, but financial crimes and corruption or corruption. They're looking to see whether or not illicit, because illicit enrichment is a financial crime. It's also corruption. Then it says to detect, deter, and aid the prosecution, of offenses committed under the various acts dealing with financial crimes, and so on and so forth. Now, here's a mission. The mission of the FID is to deter, investigate, and prosecute financial crimes. It's very clear. It doesn't say about arrest. Don't say anything about arrest, but it certainly can investigate, and it certainly can prosecute. So if you can investigate and you can prosecute, between investigation and prosecution, there's a step there, and that step is arrest. Can they arrest? Do they have arrest powers? I don't know the answer to that, if they have arrest powers. Right? I don't know. I will certainly find out and let you know next week. But I do know that they can investigate and they can prosecute. Now, similarly, it's like the IC, the Integrity Commission. They can investigate and they can prosecute. Can they arrest? I don't recall seeing an arrest provision in there. It reads something like this, that if you fail to file, then you would have committed this type of crime and you would be subjected to this kind of punishment. What's missing is, if you fail to file, then we can arrest you, then we prosecute you. So some people, they could, I would probably read arrest in there, because they're saying, well, if you can investigate and you can prosecute, then it stands to reason that why would you want to farm that piece of it out there? Why would the makers of this law would see it fit to farm it out elsewhere? Why can't you investigate, arrest, and prosecute? Why can you only investigate and prosecute and turn the arrest portion of it over to somebody else? And then who would that agency be? Now, Indicom had that problem, because Indicom, I think they went to court and they lost, because the issue was whether or not Indicom had powers to arrest, because they're saying Indicom is just an investigative body. It's just to investigate police shootings. And I don't know if they had powers to prosecute. But I'll definitely look into this and then come back next week and let you know if they have arrest powers, or And then also, if they have arrest powers, is it concurrent? Do they share arrest powers with another agency, like the JCF, for example, or well, any other agency that has, or do they share that? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know this, that they can investigate and they can prosecute. I hope that answers the question. Doc, here's another one for you. What's the remedy for numbness and leg cramps?
All right, so most likely that would be due to poor circulation. So you want to look at the veins. Maybe there's a damaged vein. Again, massage can help, and maybe it can also be caused by the thickening of the blood. There's the blood viscosity is high, so there is also natural blood thinners that you can take, like cayenne, ginger, stuff like that can help to thin the blood to get rid of leg cramp. But the most immediate would, of course, be a leg massage. But it depends on what is causing it. That would determine how to remedy it, because there are a number of factors that can cause leg cramps.
You know what? As I'm going through the thing here, I see where it says that they can't prosecute, they can investigate, but what they can do is that it says here, the unit legal services, they provide legal support and advice on cases being investigated by their division. They prepare legal documents and review case files before submission to people. You won't believe this. You will not believe this. I stand corrected. They can investigate in terms of prosecution. They can prepare the documents, but the agency that is going to stand before the court and prosecute the issue is the DPP. Now, you see where this is going. You see where this is going. You're going to have a DPP that some would consider friendly. Well, an acting DPP. We don't know what she's doing because we haven't heard anything from her. But and the former DPP, should she come back, she has been considered by many to be friendly to the government. So can you imagine she's standing up there to present the case? Oh, and by the way, keep in mind that it says, the Constitution says that the DPP can prosecute cases. The DPP can refuse to prosecute cases. And the DPP can take over any case that's been prosecuted by any other body except the military, except military cases in Jamaica. So you see what's going on here. So that's why I'm saying to you that you need outside assistance to deal with the corruption problem in Jamaica. Jamaica's corruption problem cannot be solved by Jamaica solely. There must be intervention from outside. And so all of us in the diaspora, we need to join forces and deal with this issue, because one person can't do it. One person cannot do it. Let me see. We're going to finish up. We have about 14 minutes left. What is good for cough and cold on the chest? And by the way, before you do that, let me ask you this question. When I was growing up, I'd hear people say, boy, them have a cold in them knee, them have a cold in them ankle, them have a cold in them elbow. Is there such a thing?
Yeah, what they're really referring to is what in traditional Chinese medicine, what they call dampness, a moisture. And so basically how they explain it is basically what you need is heat. So yeah, if there is coldness and dampness in different parts of the body, then it can lead to inflammation.
All right.
So what is pretty much and I mean, what is pretty much helpful is warmth. So in that same area, you feel that inflammation. If you were to get anything that would generate heat, that pain will go.
Okay. What's good for cough and cold on the chest?
So what you need is a herb that what is called, the action is what we call anti-catarrh, that will break up the cold, and anti-congestion, which will stop the coughing, or anti-convulsive, which will stop the coughing. So one good herb is like Leaf of Life, that helps to break up mucus. There are herbs like John Charles, there are herbs like Search Me Heart, these are herbs that are anti-convulsive. In other words, they relax the stomach. They prevent the muscles from convulsing. Right? That's what you need. That's the type of herb you need for that. Herbal action you need for that.
Here's another question from Hyacinth. I have a friend who have shingles. What can she take for it?
Right. So shingles is inflammation. Honestly, I've never dealt with anybody with shingles because these shingles is like those are rare conditions. But by and large, it's inflammation. So the part what the person will have is flare-ups. So that area is tender. So herbs like if you can get herbs like anti-inflammatory herbs, that's the property you need. You need anti-inflammatory herbs. So herbs like and also you need herbs that are cooling. So you need herbs that are cooling and herbs that are anti-inflammatory. So aloe vera would count because it's cool. It draws heat out, it draws inflammation out, and it cools the area. Herbs that are mucilaginous, so herbs like slippery elm, any herb that is mucilaginous that you use to make a poultice, you can apply it to the area and it will pull the inflammation out. That's just a topical treatments in terms of what the person would take internally now. Turmeric is also very good because that's anti-inflammatory, and so you're dealing with it from different angles.
Doc, what causes Miner's disease?
I don't know Miner's. I'm not familiar with Miner's disease.
Okay. There was something I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, so somebody says shingles are herpes virus. Yes, so it is. And by the way, shingles affect you because it's caused by a herpes virus. It really flares up when the body's immune system goes down. So once the body's immune system takes a dive, then that's when the flare up starts. So you basically want to keep your immune system high. So again, herbs like the Ganoderma, the reishi mushroom, again, because if it is that you have like a flare up of shingles, it means that the body is under stress. So you need something to help the body to deal with that stress.
All right. Here's another one. I understand that bacteria affects the sheathing on the spine, cause multiple sclerosis. Any suggestions to eliminate or cure?
That's another virus that's caused by inflammation. So what would be good would be any type of ozone therapy. So ozone therapy has been proven to be very effective and useful against that. So you can do an ozone therapy through the skin, or you can use an ozone therapy where you can get a sauna, heat the body up, and pump ozone in. And what the ozone will do is that it will the pores open, get the toxin in, and it negatively affects those viruses.
Yeah, Ashton, I think you're talking about SARS, suspicious activity report. I don't know the process there, though, if it requires an attorney at law to report the SARS directly to the chief. I'm not sure about how they handle that. I'm sure they have. What I'm sure about is that they have a division that will handle that. I'm not sure about the division, and I'm not sure about the process. Somebody said many years disease. Many years. It affects the.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Meniere's disease. I'm not familiar with it, so I couldn't comment on that.
Hold on a second. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Where are you calling from?
Calling from Jamaica.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. If you have a question, we don't have much time. Go ahead, please.
I want to ask Dr. Person. I have serious sinusitis. Serious sinusitis affecting my tongue is full of all the white coal, and it just keeps running full at the back and mucus. There's still things I don't know what that is for 2 years.
Could you translate for me, Ratty? I'm not.
Yeah. What's the question? Yeah, you don't know. What's the question?
The question: what is best for me to take to get rid of the cold?
What is best to get rid of the cold?
Yeah, the cold, the nuisance, sinus.
Oh, sinus.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Hang up, please. Thanks for the question. Doc is gonna answer you.
All right. So one of the first you want to do is you want to rule out or you want to remove anything that could be contributing to it, because we all have a sinus. That's that nasal cavity that we have, and what happens is that when we eat certain foods, the sinus cavity is lined with mucus forming cells. And so what it does is that it produces mucus that is sticky, that is supposed to trap debris from going into the nostrils. And so when you eat certain foods, what happens is that the body produces high levels of mucus that it should normally produce. And that overproduction of mucus is what clogs the nasal passage. And so what's very good for that is you want to remove dairy products from your diet. And then after removing dairy products from your diet, you want to get salt water is very good. You can actually do what is called a nasal flush, which is you can get distilled water and add salt to it and then just pour it through the nostril, because saline solution is antibacterial, so it clears the nostril out. Another very good solution again is the colloidal silver. This is something that I strongly recommend. Let me see if I can.
Move it to the other side. The light is affecting it. Move it to your right hand.
Hold on.
Ah, there you go.
Right. So this is something that is very effective. You can get this online. We have it here. Person who's calling in Jamaica, we have it. You can use it as a dropper, or you can take it on the tongue, and it gives you, very, very, very good response. Before antibiotic was invented, this is what was being used. And so we use it for, there are thousands of applications for colloidal silver. And sinus is one of them. Of course, you want to know what's triggering a sinus. Sometimes it's dust. Sometimes it's pets. Sometimes it's things in the house. Sometimes it's pollen. So you want to identify what are your triggers. Number one. Number two, you want to get rid of the foods that would encourage overproduction of mucus. And then you want to get something that is antibacterial. Another very good, so salt is good. Cayenne pepper is also good to clear the sinus passage out.
President, where you there? Why you come on and, because we are getting ready for close up shop now. Why you come on and
I think somebody said Meniere's disease causes vertigo, severe spinning sensation that can lead to nausea, vomiting, sweating, and loss of balance. I'd have to do some more research on Meniere's disease, but that symptoms helps a lot. But I'll have to do some more research on it before I comment on it, because that's the symptom, but we still don't know if it's a bacteria, it's a virus, if it's caused by damage, physical part of the ear or what. So need to know more. I would need to know more about it.
Yeah. And Ashton, you're talking about the Jamaica, you said was passed further to the International Financial Action Task Force. Our former illustrious finance minister was able to get Jamaica for that grey list for money laundering and terrorist financing, so they took Jamaica off of that list. I think with the Prime Minister's action, Jamaica will be considered to be placed back on the list. So that's where we are. But again, the long and short of it is that Jamaica is very good at writing and talking, but not good at doing. And when I say Jamaica, I'm talking about the government. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. So that's where we are with that. Prezi, where you there? Prezi, OT, we're Prezi.
While Prezi is coming on, I see Marilyn Fletcher's comment. I was told Guinea hen soaked in rubbing alcohol and some weed would help clear up the nasal passage. Yeah, that's true, because Guinea hen works as in terms of circulation and pungency as well. So definitely Guinea hen would do that. Cayenne pepper, as I said, would also do that. You ever notice why if you smell cayenne pepper, you know your eyes start to run and your nose just begins to run? it's because it has an effect as well.
Eh?
So
All right, cool.
smelling cayenne pepper, if you were to put it in a jar or put it in a container, shake it up and just smell it, it would also help to clear the sinus passage out as well.
Yeah. There's Mr. President himself in them Bose glasses. You see, glasses. I hope him give one of them there for Christmas, you know. Mr. President, come in. People want to hear from you before we cut out. Doc, Brittany asks, does it matter what brand of? Oh, there's.
Yeah, if it matter what kind of
brand of Cardinal Silver.
Colloidal silver.
A colloidal, yeah.
You want a colloidal silver that is about 30 parts per million. Doesn't matter the brand. Is it quality? You want a good colloidal silver about 30 parts per million. Or you can also take nano silver, which is even better because colloidal silver particles are much smaller.
Another question is, President, oh, he's coming on, yeah. Another question is, what are the benefits of consuming black seed oil?
Black seed oil is one of those superfoods. It's considered to be a spice. Cumin, and basically what it does is that it boosts the body's immune system. It raises the body's ability to fight infection. So it's antibacterial and it's also antiviral. So it's a great combination of herbal actions into one particular product. So it has multiple benefits.
There's another one here. As I was told that guinea hen soaked in rubbing alcohol and some weed would help clear up the nasal passage for sinus.
Yeah, man, I responded to that one. So that is definitely true. That is definitely true.
Okay, let me see what else is here. Oh, can a person take herb remedy and inhaler to remove mucus?
Herb remedy, that's a very wide question. Herb remedy, depending, but the answer is yes. Depends on what type of herb remedy and how that the person is inhaling. So definitely that can work.
Yeah, actually, then the show sell off for first time. Here's what happened. The show sell out for all we know because this show can only go as far as we want it to go, and I've used the plural, we, not me, because this is the growth out of the Saturday program with people wanting to ask questions but not getting the opportunity because of the time that we have. And I mean, some people say, well, 5 hours, that's a long time. That's true, but we have a lot of material. I submit to you that the Saturday show is one of the few shows that you can listen to and learn a lot about a lot, because I don't think we've ever done only one subject. It's several subjects, sometimes 5, 6, right? And we know that a lot of people watch it, and a lot of people take notes, and a lot of people go and verify the information and educate themselves so that they can be ambassadors for the program, but also ambassadors for Jamaica. When the people start talking nonsense, they can explain to them and not curse them out, but talk to them in such a way that they can convert them to the truth. Because sometimes it's hard to see the truth when you're blinded by partisanship. And that is what is going on in Jamaica. People are blinded by partisanship and they just cannot see the truth. So sometimes it takes some time for you to sit down and explain to people. And that's why we don't have a lot of time to take the phone calls. So what you're witnessing tonight is an outgrowth of Saturday's program. People wanting to ask questions, not only of me, but of the guests. So what I do is I make myself available on a Wednesday night and I say, ask me anything. And then we bring people on as well, people that we know they provide education in a certain area that you have a tremendous amount of interest. Like tonight we have Doc on, and I know a lot of you want to move away from the pharmaceutical type of medicine to herbal stuff. And so he's the man that we have to talk to about that. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we will continue to do. Lati, I'm learning a lot on your program, Mr. Rattigan. Hey, Lati, I'm glad. I'm going to tell you what, I am also learning. I'm learning from the questions, and I'm also learning from the statements that some of you make. And it's a learning experience for all of us. I don't know everything, we don't know everything, but together we know a lot. So let's share. How much bank accounts can Jamaican citizens have without breaking the law? Kokich, I think you're referring to our esteemed Prime Minister, the situation now. I'm just trying to be funny. There is no law against the amount of bank accounts you can have in Jamaica. Maybe other countries, but not in Jamaica. And we know this because our Prime Minister have at least, and I say at least 28, because I don't think we know the full story about the overseas ones. I say that because I don't know, and I didn't see anything in the report referring to any overseas bank accounts. They refer to a Citibank account, but that's the investment side of Citibank. That's not the commercial side. And I didn't see anything about, except for ADMAT, but ADMAT was a holding company, and it was dissolved he said he wound it up in 2021, and all the assets went into Imperial. So, but we still need to check that. We still need to check that out, because people are telling me that they suspect that the Prime Minister has investments overseas, and that the Integrity Commission, for whatever reason, didn't go that far. So that's where we are. President, thank you so much, sir, for sticking around. President, hold on one second. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. Where are you calling from? Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Good evening. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. You have a question?
Hello?
Yeah, apparently there's something wrong with the line. President, go ahead, please, sir. We're over already.
Thank you, sir. As always, another class, another lesson. Love your in-depth analysis. Love the way you dodge even some of the question, in the sense like the guy that came on earlier. And him right out him question. I don't know if you have an audience or whatever, but the way you package it, the way you respond, perfect. Love it. But I love him for taking the time. Yeah, taking the time to make sure he writes the question he wants to ask, make sure he came on and make sure that he was clear with what he wanted to ask, and also have follow-up questions or additional questions. And I really like how the listeners, they approach this as a school, as somewhere they can come and learn. And Dr. Ben, as always, your contribution is so immense, and we as African people, we need your knowledge. And I know you're very busy right now with the product, and thank you so much. My pantry is filled with your face. See your face every time I go in my pantry. I'm looking at your face, or I'm like, okay, move Dr. Ben up. Get up with Dr. Ben. All right, here's what I need. But thank you, sir. And but you did say you want to train people on medicine. You said you want to train a bunch of people to teach them the bitter and the sweet herbs. And I want you to continue working on that, because the knowledge that you give is amazing. And thank you, sir, for your service. And
President, one quick question.
Here to do this for us.
President, one quick question. One quick question for Doc. Doc, remember I said I wanted to ask you something and I forgot. Just came back to me. Now, based on the circumstances last night, a lot of people are feeling down. I received a lot of phone calls today, and people just depressed about the whole thing. Herbally, if there's such a word, what would you suggest that these people take to get over that mood?
But there's nothing that can be taken herbally, but there is something that can be done mentally. Because the mind, somebody says 67% of what it means to be healthy is a state of your mind. And so if it is that if you have made what happened, for some persons, if you've made that into a negative and you keep on focusing, then that is what you're going to reproduce. The hormones, because every action that we carry out, happiness is a hormone, sadness is a hormone, depression is a hormone. It's a chemical. So it's not just psychological, it's also a physiological chemistry taking place. And so, what we have to do is we have to choose what we want that outcome to be. We are co-creators. We have the ability to create. So we literally create the reality that we want. And so we can virtually decide what do I want to happen, and you can now begin to repeat that repetitively in the mind, and change the state of your mind, change the state of your feeling.
So there's no herbal remedy that you can give someone to get them out of that funky mood then?
No. But there is mental medicine.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry to interrupt you, President. And I know we're over.
No interruption.
But I want, as President said it, I want to make an appeal. I'm really looking for persons to train. I've left New York, and I have 2 persons that in a very short order, I will be able to. I set up satellite centers. So we have 2 persons in New York that are now that are very soon, not really quite ready, but very soon. Through them, I'll be able to see persons in New York, to see persons in Florida, to see persons in Kingston. Because what I do, I can do it remotely. So I'm looking for persons to train. ICM Wellness Marketplace. There's a training and then there's a mentoring. So I'm looking for persons to train and then to mentor, which means that I put you in a group where I work with you very closely in terms of guiding you. So for example, if you had somebody like that lady who said that she had her husband, if she did the training and if she had the machine, I can stay here in Jamaica, tell her what to do, put the husband on whatever device that we use, find out what's happening, and then better guide her as if I am there as to what she needs to do. So that's really where I'm heading in terms of training and mentoring persons.
One quick question.
Thank you.
I remember you said one time that. Yeah, I remember you said one time that you would, in order to treat someone sufficiently well, that you would need to visit them and see where they live and what's around them. If you can't do that, what's the next best thing?
Well, as I said, the next best thing basically is finding somebody who is in that area. So, for example, on our website, even though we have a lot of products, let us say I was working with Prezi, and let us say, for example, there is somebody who needs a particular herbal formulation that we don't have, because primarily herbalism historically was designed to be personalized. So historically, herbalists didn't have medicines on shelf. What they had was a raw material, and so after consultation, the medicine was customized for the person based on their needs. And so that element, we can never get away from it. And that's why we need persons to mentor. Because what I would have to actually do is I would have to say, okay, Prezi, you need 1 ounce of that, 2 ounces of that, 3 ounces of that, 4 ounces of that. And then we would decide whether it's going to be an oil, a tincture, a salve, whatever form it's going to be delivered in. So we pretty much get that person and guide them, mentor them, so that you are learning from real life experiences, real life cases. That's basically what I'm doing. So it's not just to have the school. The school is just a general training. But then there is the actual mentoring where we have persons who I'm working with. So I have persons present in Kingston Sunday or Monday, different persons who they're actually seeing persons, and then I have to guide them in terms of how to work with those persons. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to do, because the greatest weapon against sickness and disease is education, not medication. And there are so many persons that are sick that they take it for granted that they have persons like us around. We are not going to be around forever. We are not going to be around forever. And so the idea is really to train persons to get that knowledge.
President.
Thank you, sir. As always, big up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Will brought me back on to talk a little bit about a charity event I'm having this weekend. And if you weren't here earlier, I would encourage you to go and watch the first part of this broadcast when you're finished, please. I was showing a doctor that was featured on CVM TV. And that doctor, Dr. Sheehan Betty, is a one person that benefited from the scholarship that Free Spirit offers. His mother was selling cigarettes on the beach. One of our members saw the lady selling cigarettes just to try to send him to school. And we listened to her story. We took it to task. And we start helping the mother with him until he got into college. We sent him his first stethoscope. I mean, it's on CVM TV. It's right on our homepage. You can see the website scrolling at the bottom. You can go there and watch it yourself. But this Saturday, we have 10 students we want to offer scholarship to. We need to raise $35,000, and we need a lot of help. And I'm appealing to you if you would be so kind as to, help me. Hold on, this way we go. Something like that. Yeah, help me achieve this goal, because I'm hoping that you can, go over to the website, send us something on Zelle or Cash App. It's scrolling at the bottom. Producer, can you move that chat for me, please? I want to talk a little bit. Just remove the chat. Thank you. Just leave the banner at the bottom, but the chat. Producer sleeping. All right. So one thing I want to talk about with what we've been doing, right there on the website, we've okay, I think I can move this one. Okay, we're good. Just leave it here. Thank you. One thing we've been talking about is the work that we've been doing in Jamaica to help the people. I've been going to Jamaica and helping people. I've built computer labs, and we have given tens and tens of thousands of books and I'm talking about back to school supplies. We've done healthcare. This year, I was in Jamaica. Ari can catch me there. I was in Jamaica this year doing the very same thing, and barely catch me. I was there recording the storm. I went there to be a blessing and stayed there in the storm, and that is what we've been doing. And as soon as the storm finished, I mobilized my team, and we went back and we collected donation and got a lot of food. And went back in the storm. The road didn't even clear yet. I'm going to start being on the ground to give people food packages just after the storm and helping people with additional stuff. And that is what we've been doing. So not only helping schools, not only giving back in the community through health and many different ways, because we have healthcare, work with the Ministry of Health. Once we do any testing, we get local doctors in Jamaica, and then we have the Ministry of Health come to the event, and then we submit the documents with them so that these people can have it attached to their medical records. But what we're doing on Saturday is trying to get some kids in school, and a lot of them will need the opportunity. So what we talk about is giving them a hand up, not a handout, a hand up, because sometimes people just need a little boost. Sometimes people just need just a little push to get them over hump, and them good after that. Them good after that. Let's give them a little jump. A little jump them need. And me find myself in a position where I accept what the scripture said. It's more blessing to give than to receive. Yeah, it is. Like, The joy you feel when you see one little picnic get one bag and hug it up and say, Mommy, look here, we get a bag for go back to school. An old lady come and hold you and I say, thank you, sir. You know, for when I look like a painkiller, I look like a medicine and I can't, when time I go down to a clinic, I have to wait the whole day and then my arthritis. And you hear these stories all the time. And sometimes all it do is a couple $100 I collect from here, there, and here from individuals. We put a lot, we fund our own trip to go there to give back. But here in the US, we're trying to help students, but not only the scholarship benefit children here in the US, they benefit children in Jamaica too. So this Saturday, you're going to hear from, and well, it's not going to be broadcast on the thing, but at the event, we have 2 of the recipients. The last 2 recipients will be presented. One of them is doing avionics right now, and the other one is a teacher at Bethlehem Teachers College in Jamaica right now. And we're trying to get 10 children and up, just a way, just a little juke start in life. Help me help them. And I'm asking if you can do that, it will mean a lot. And I know I've said a lot and I've taken a lot of time to ask you for your donations, but that's where I'm at right now. And that's what I'm asking you to help us to achieve. Will, I thank you so much for the opportunity to do this. And I yield back to you, sir.
Not a problem. Just pure pleasure. Like you said, you're asking for help so that you can help. And you have a track record, and a track record to be proud of. And a track record that people can, that people can see and hopefully they can support. This, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, is a worthy cause. And so I'm making a personal appeal for you to go out or even stay in and support. If you can attend the event, please do so. I made plans to attend the event, but my plans, the best laid plans, right? It's not going to work. But I'm going to make a contribution to what Prezi is doing, and I'm asking you to do the same. If we can just help, like he said, just put a smile on somebody's face. Just put a smile on somebody's face. It will be well worth it. So, thank you again, Prezi, for all that you do, for the people of Jamaica, for your community where you live, and also for this program. Can't thank you enough. OT, big up yourself. I know we've gone over. We might as well just go 9 more minutes, because we're 11:21. I was trying to 8:30. So just want to thank you, OT, for your contribution and for just your lovely presence. You're a gem to work with. And before we close, I want to yield the floor to Dr. Ben and have Dr. Ben talk about what he's doing, how busy he is, because I know he's very busy, how you can see him, just to go over it, because some of you may have joined us late, and I know what's going to happen. Some of you are going to reach out to me after and say, how do I get in touch with Dr. Ben? So if you're on the program right now and you don't know how to get in touch with Dr. Ben, here he is. And I'm going to put up his number. I think Prezi can put up the number.
Yes, it's there.
The number is there. Okay. All right. The floor is yours.
Again, thank you, Ratty. As I said, because of what I do, it's very difficult sometimes to get me because I work with so many persons around the world. Most of the times I'm in consultation on the phone or physically. So I have to literally see the phone ringing and can't answer it. So I have a team of persons. So that number is my St. Thomas office. I just limit it to just one number. You can get it anywhere from 10 o'clock in the morning to about 5 o'clock in the evening. So they don't answer it right around the clock. So if you send a message now, you won't get an answer until tomorrow, 10 to about 5. And then they'll pass on those messages to me. And believe me, they make sure. So the best way to get to me is to get through to that message. Send a voice note, send a WhatsApp message, and they will make sure I get that message and make sure that I follow up. So, as I said, ICM Wellness Marketplace.net is our website. We offer a number of products. Right now, we're having a sale, so you can go there. A host of products. We we have created that to be our a part of what we call our ecosystem. So that's the platform on which we make available our books, CD, you know, physical health products, courses, everything is there. Consultation is there. Right now, I'm very busy because I do see some persons, but I'm trying to move away from that because here's a challenge. It's very difficult for me to see all these persons and to follow up with them. It's much more easier for me to see them through persons. So, you know, the course is what I'm promoting because the more persons I train, platforms like this, opportunities like this is what I'm looking for, where I can help multiple persons in one go. In a consultation, I can only help one person at a time. In a session like this, and in a session like this, when somebody asks me a question as much as is possible, yes, you know, this is my bread and butter, but my goal is to help as much persons as I can. So I'm not going to be slight or stingy with whatever knowledge I need to share with you. As long as I can do it, I'm going to do that. So I'm really grateful again to Rattigan for the opportunity. And please feel free, Rattigan, whenever you want me, I'm available. I'll make myself available because I value and I prioritize opportunities like this because I get the chance to help multiple persons at the same time.
All right. Let me ask you a question. We have 6 minutes left, but let me ask you a question. How do you get your herbs? Do you grow your herbs? Do you forage your herbs? Do you buy your herbs? I mean, I was thinking with all the herbs that you've mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you have a steady supply?
Well, we right now we harvest our herbs while we harvest wildcraft herbs. So the good thing is that Jamaica is not at a place where there's a herb industry, which is we're pushing to. But because we don't have a robust herb industry, Jamaica has an abundance of herbs so that we don't yet have to plant. We may soon have to plant some herbs, but right now we don't have to because all of what we have is in such an abundance that we can just get it. We just harvest it through different persons that we train. So we have harvesters, persons who we train to harvest for us, that they know what we're looking for, the quality, and they know how to also harvest in a way where it's not harmful to the environment.
Now, do you import any of the herbs that you use? Do you import any of them?
No. Yes, wild raspberry. So there's one herb that we use in our fibroids medicine that we import. There's a herb that we use in also our male enhancement tonic that we import. So there's about 4 herbs that we import there. So in all, there's maybe about 10 or 12 herbs that we import.
Okay. Could you speak a little bit about the herb? There's this one herb that you were taking in New York, and you said you had to rush home because it's
that formulation. Yeah, that formulation. I'm actually getting ready to do a series of presentation on that. That's going to be entitled "The 10 Most Powerful Jamaican Herbs for Men with Erectile Dysfunction Over 40," because that was a formulation that I shared with my very good friend Carl Hamilton. And so he went ahead and he put this formulation together. We now have it on our website, by the way. It's called Egero. And it's because when a man has a problem, and because I've subsequently found out that most platforms don't encourage you to promote herbs for men and also for weight loss. And we're having a big problem in getting herbs in like products like in Canada. So that product is a product that I took. That how it works, it has one ingredient in it that sends blood to a particular vein in the penis. And when you take it, what it does is that it woke me up at about 12 o'clock in the night. I had to say no more. I tell her that but the next morning, while I was in the train leaving, I was staying in Queens, and I had to go to Bronx every morning. I had to hold my head down on the floor and not look on any female.
That powerful?
Yeah, because of how powerful it was. So, you know, and further, I want to talk about, maybe one time, Rattigan, when I come on, I want to talk about that. in terms of when you're making a medicine from men, what are the herbal actions that you're looking for? Because as funny as it may seem, some persons will take it and say it does nothing for them. And it is because of what may be your underlining factor. What is your underlining factor as to why you're having issues? So I want to do a program where I talk about that and talk about, and that's why again formulation is so important, because even though that was my experience, it may not be the experience of somebody else. So sometimes it's best to give the knowledge so persons can know what they need to do, what they need to increase, what they need to decrease, in order for them to benefit.
Well, like the song said, open your eyes and see for yourself. Open your eyes and know for yourself. So, Doc, look, it's been a pleasure having you, my brother.
Yeah,
and
man.
like you said, you're most welcome. This house is your house.
All right, sir.
On a Wednesday night, you just come in and you just express yourself, and everybody there wait for the expression, the herbal expression. So, people, want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. Want to thank the people backstage who made this possible. OT, big up yourself. All of you in the chat, all of you who made the phone call, all of you who spent some time with us out of your busy day. And some of you, I know it's been a depressing day, but you still found the time to come in and sit back, relax, and have a chat with us. So here it is, folks. Open your eyes, see for yourself. Yes, one and all, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. Dr. Ben, our favorite doctor, the herbal mystic. We have Mystic Sensation and we have the Herbal Mystic. That's the Dr. Ben. I want to thank Mr. President. And again, people, please support the worthy cause. Please support the worthy cause. And until we meet next week, we will meet on Saturday. Come reason with Rattigan. But if you can't make it this Saturday, there's always next week, Wednesday. Until then, take care of yourself. Be well.